welcome everybody to the Social Dig, the greatest underrated show on the World Wide Web. I am your host, Mr. Rob G, and as always, we're going to be digging into the topics that keep you talking and the talk that keeps you thinking. So come on in, kick your feet up, get an ice cold beverage, get ready to join the conversation. Yes. We're back with another late night call-in show. After we just celebrated over at Spaced Out Radio, hitting 24,000 subscribers. What a day. Didn't even see it, which I'm glad I saw it before the end of the show. That's what I will say. I want to appreciate everybody for coming in. We got Deb from Sacramento, who looks like she got to go over at Social Dig tonight. Love it, okay. We got Area 51. You already know what time it is, Area 51. We got Race Fan. Yeah, wrenches. I know, I need to start giving out wrenches. I haven't handed out any wrenches, but now this is becoming a more common thing. I'm definitely going to do that. Angels Are Life. Thank you so much for coming in and joining the conversation tonight. Mackie M10, thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. I really do. Derek Galloway, thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate it. Hopefully we hear from you tonight. You said you were in the back. You said your camera mic wasn't working. Though I don't know, because it came in under a different name, so I can't verify that it was actually Derek. But Paramar, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you. Van Gold, thank you for coming over here to the Social Dig. Appreciate it. Mothman, thanks for coming and joining the conversation. Black Dragon, thank you for coming and joining the conversation. Let's see. Jessica S., thanks for coming. Thanks for coming over. This is the after party. The after party to the after party to the after party. Let's see. Who else do we got in here? We got... Yeah. Derek always says he joined backstage. Yeah. Someone joined backstage. I can't... It was like Wu Train Rider or something like that was the name. I can't verify that was actually Derek Galloway. Let's see. I know I said Area 51, but let me say it again. Area 51, thanks for coming in. Let's see, we got Paramarv. Thanks for joining the conversation tonight at the Social Dig. Looks like we got a call here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this caller in. I don't know if you can hear the caller. Caller, are you there? All right, that's not going to work. Let me do it like this. One moment. Oh, the call ended. Okay. Oh, yeah. Technical difficulties, boy. When you go from one show to the next show, it's like that sometimes. Set up for one show and then jumping into this show. So let me make sure we're all set. The caller 253 area code, caller from the 253. Okay, let me go ahead and jump in here and see what we got. Yeah, maybe I should turn that down, right?
Call from. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hello, caller, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
All right. And who do we have on the line?
You got Area 51. You got one.
Area 51. Okay, I didn't realize you're 253.
Yeah.
253. Can everybody hear one out there?
I have no idea if they can hear me.
Can you hear me clearly, Juan?
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, good. I'll make sure it's set up to a whole different
100%. Yeah, this is different because I was doing it from the last time I was doing it from the computer, and so today I'm doing it from the phone.
Yeah. What's going on, man? So, okay, good. All right. So we can do it like this. Just so everybody knows, because I haven't said this yet, but the call-in line is the StreamYard link is in the chat, so you can go ahead and join. Juan is on the line, so right now you can't call, but you can leave a message, 856-843-3444, 856 The-DIGG. Yeah, let me see. Derek Galloway says he's going to send over another UFO video over Wisconsin. My friend sent me recently. Okay, Derek. Okay, cool. So yeah, Juan, we were there. We realized at the end that okay, Social Dig, I can hear Area 51. Good. Okay, good. Yeah, so 24,000, man, over at Spaced Out Radio is crazy. It's crazy. I know Dave has been.
You guys hit 24 today. That's amazing.
During the show, possibly.
Amazing.
Usually I check all the time, so I can't say if it happened before the show or during the show. But either way it goes, we were able to at least kind of celebrate it. I didn't want to do too much because I want to save that for Dave to celebrate that tomorrow. To make a big to-do about it tomorrow. But yeah, we were here when it happened, man, so it was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, no, amazing. I was actually shocked here. I was like, I thought you guys were already there.
Yeah, you would think, right? Yeah. But I can tell you that, I'm a numbers person. I've been watching these numbers, and even way before I became on Space Around, because you should watch everyone's numbers so you know where everyone is at. And I've been noticing that especially recently, the last 6 months, Spaced Out Radio is definitely starting to grow pretty fast. So I think 2025 won't take too long at all. I think we'll get there pretty quick.
Definitely. I mean, you guys, like I say, you guys are doing the heat, not the sleep.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do, man. And it's I feel good about the show. See, my thing is, I'm my biggest critic, really, when it comes down to it. Because what happens is when I do a show, there may be something that I miss, or I think I messed up on, or and it always in the moment it always feels like, man, that was bad. But then I swear, every time I go back and I look at it, I rewatch it, and I'm like, oh, okay, it wasn't actually that bad. It actually turned out a lot better than I thought. But yeah, I criticize myself heavily when it comes to making mistakes and things like that. So, and I know Dave is a perfectionist.
I think you've been doing a great job.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Great.
I can tell you
that's why I keep coming back.
I can tell you I feel comfortable, man. I definitely feel comfortable, and that helps, you know what I mean? Because if you like, in the beginning, it didn't come across like that, but I know I was, figuring out what to do, and we had to recreate everything from scratch again and all that stuff. So that stuff was pretty, daunting, and then trying these new things in the moment right then and there, not knowing how those things would turn out, if people would accept it or not. So going through all those growing pains, but now I think we're getting more comfortable over there, more regular, and now we can start putting some new stuff in there. That's why I'm doing the fan stuff, because I want to know what the fans want. Like, what do you guys want to see over there? That's kind of what I would like to know, because we just really want to do what you guys want to see. So if there's ever anything that you feel like isn't working or you want to see different, please let us know.
I think it works. I mean, like you said, it's going to get to the point where you probably won't be able to do this anymore. So that's what I'm trying to encourage. The reason why I even come on to even voice is because I want people to, be able to talk to you or to Dave or to people, because at one point you guys are going to get so big that we won't be able to talk to you anymore. So
Man, I know you
get in
say
here.
that. I know you
Put
say
it
that,
in.
man, and I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Put it
But
in.
I'll tell you what, man, there's no way, as many times as, and I know Dave would probably say this same thing, as many times as we go through these chats and read these names, and like these names are memorized, right? So these
100%.
names, you can't forget these names. So regardless if it was a million people in the chat, as soon as Area 51 pops up, there's no way that I'm gonna be like, not no, I'm like, that's Area 51 straight up. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of that's the real good thing about engaging with the viewer. You know what I mean? Because you do build a relationship, and it's more than just a name. It's like, I know Juan, man. We talk a lot, right? We come on the show and we talk about all sorts of stuff. So that's the difference. You know what I mean? So don't ever feel like or think that you'll ever be lost in the chat, because man, you won't. You'll never be. You've already locked in a spot with me for sure, and along with a lot of other people here. There's no way I could ever forget any of these people's names, any of them.
Exactly. That's how I feel too, because I go, there's no way I can forget any of the people that I've engaged with. Like, I know all their names.
Yeah.
And I know what they mean to me.
Exactly.
The support that they show for you guys.
Exactly.
Especially, the pressure, they elevate. You got the platform, you got the elevation, you're good. You got stability, and I go, man, that's great, and I love that. And like I said, you guys bring the heat, so it's like you guys don't bring the sleep. So
yeah, I like that. That's
I'm
a nice
always going to
slogan.
be saying that.
That's a nice slogan, man. You bring the heat. You don't bring the sleep. I like that.
Yeah, don't bring the sleep. Yeah, bring the heat. Don't bring the sleep, because they already stole that from me.
Who stole that?
I'm not gonna say.
Oh, okay. Some of those guys. Okay, got it.
I'm not gonna say who stole that, but they tried to. They already came after me, and I go, I didn't coin it, but I go, it's okay, you can take it.
Yeah, say no more. You're
not
good.
To sleep. No, I don't care.
Exactly, and that's how I feel. Because I'll tell you what. Yeah, as far as that goes, I have there's some channels out, and keep in mind, this is before I went Space Out Radio. My channel is a small channel, so I'm always surprised and shocked when the larger channels clearly, and there's so many examples, and I kind of just sit back every time and kind of laugh to myself, because they copy the stuff that I do, and I'm a small channel. Like, what?
Yeah.
But it just lets me know that I must be doing something right if they're copying, and then I instead of being mad about it, I just take it as flattery. Like, okay, I'm flattered then that you copied my.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Joe Monk, don't tell the ladies that you have a small channel. Hilarious. Yeah, no, it's not really that. Yeah, okay, exactly.
Yeah,
but awesome. it just is funny to me, man. I see definitely channels that are larger channels. And
I think what you're doing right now, what you're bringing into, because the people that are right here, right now, 100% to 200% support you. And that's why I would not be here if I didn't feel the same way. I'm not trying, I don't have anything to promote. Like, you're not getting me here because of, anything. I want... I don't know. You guys are genuine. I've never met anyone like Dave Scott. If people think he's weird, I don't know. I've heard stuff, but not the same way that I've heard stuff about other people. But I don't want to get into that. I want people tonight to feel confident to come up and tell their stories. What are we talking about tonight, basically?
Exactly.
And then, or what, bring your experiences up.
Exactly.
And don't be afraid not to call. Like, you're here for a reason, so call.
Exactly.
And then
listen to
your
Juan.
Experience.
Listen to Juan. He's speaking the truth here.
Because that's all I want. I want you guys to do that, because sometimes we don't get our voices heard. And this is the chance right now. And when you don't get that chance anymore, you have to look somewhere else. And that's bad. So stop. So right now, I want to encourage everyone that's listening right now to come forward and just someone new or someone who hasn't called, or I don't know, just tell something. Tell us if, like, even if a crayon moved.
Yes.
So
Juan, you're speaking facts,
the only reason why I want to encourage them.
Speaking facts, man.
Tim Mothman, Tim Mothman, he knows I love you. I love you too, bro.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. And Juan speaks the real, man. And you do have something to promote. You have to promote you. And you are the product that you promote. Your mind. You know what I mean? Like, if so many,
that made my hair stand up.
I mean, it's your mind, and a lot of people there's things that people can pick up from you, whether you know it or not. There's things that people have picked up from you, whether you know it or not, just already have. So it's a benefit. So. It's a benefit.
From all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
From all of us. Not just me, because I just want to, the way that I see it, it's just like, when I hear you talk with people, I go, and you're interviewing people. I couldn't do that. I'm not a very good interviewer. So, I like when I see you guys do this because of the art form, the way it's structured, the way you guys actually compose it, and it's so well done.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. And
that's a great comment. Sometimes you guys don't understand it, and it comes off so well. And I go, that's really good. That's really good.
That's awesome, Juan. That's an awesome compliment.
If it wasn't that way, like, look how many people are here.
Exactly.
I know it doesn't seem 30 people.
No, yeah, that's a great number. That's a great number. And you're speaking facts, Juan, and it's a great compliment coming from you, man, and I really appreciate 100%. It because
you guys really do it, really, and then appreciating the fact that you guys acknowledge everyone.
Right.
You guys actually really, and I go, and that's one of the things that I used to tell some other podcasts. I go, please enjoy this for a bit, because you will not get this later. If they blow up, ain't no one mentioning your name.
I vow to not do that, man. I vow.
I know. I say the same thing, bro. No, 100%.
But it's true though, because I know some people. Because here's the thing, because I know some people will say that, but they don't really mean it. They're like, man, I know I'm gonna forget. But no, so the mission I'm on, as far as is humanity goes, like, I want to know everyone I look at everyone as a human, and the rule is, like, when you come in through these doors, you drop your personas and you come in just as a human being. Like, I don't care what walk of life you come from. I don't care what your religious background is. I don't care what you side with politically. I don't care about any of those things. Everyone's welcome. Right. Just strip those shells and come in as a human, and let's do the human thing. And when you the compliments that you're giving shows that you have appreciation for what it is that we do, and I appreciate the fact that you realize and recognize that, because not a lot of people will take the time to say it. So it takes a big person to go ahead and do that. and it's all true and it's all facts. And to give to that, Derek Galloway's like Rob's ego meter infinity. Nah, Derek, nah, I'm gonna tell you a story here. Here's the thing with me, right? So in my past, I've done music and other things. So I've experienced levels of lower levels though of celebrity where you go places and people know who you are and things like I've experienced that in my life. I've done that in my early life. So I don't seek at this point in my life. I don't seek the recognition. I don't seek any of that because I've already experienced it as a kid, which is if you're going to experience it, is the best time to experience it. You know what I mean? So I've already had those days. That I've been with celebrities and around celebrities and all that type of stuff. Celebrities don't move the needle for me at this point in my life. Like none of that stuff to me matters anymore because I've done that. It's all in my past. So that's why I'm even more set up, for what we're doing because my ego is always going to be down on the bottom level on the floor. Just, it's going to be like a standard person. And I think that's going to be one of the bigger things. Like you see a lot in this new age with YouTube and all these things. There's a lot of people who do it for ego and who do it to achieve some sort of celebrity, to be recognized and noticed in places. And that's just not what I do this for. It's just not. You know what I mean? I've already had those days in a time where internet wasn't even around, where, if people knew who you were in other places, you had to promote and have people on foot on the ground and passing out flyers and posters and things of that nature. So whole different era. I'm not even on that page right now, even though there are a lot of others out there that are doing it solely for the recognition. So I know you're joking, Derek, but I just want to point that out, man, because we're having a heartfelt moment here, and I think it's real. You know what I mean? The what Juan is expressing, I think he really means what he's saying, and then at the same time, I mean what I'm saying. So,
100%.
And I want everybody
and I
to
think
know
you
that.
do too, and that's the reason why I feel like I'm gravitated towards SOR more than any of the other. I'm not gonna talk. I'm not gonna get into it where we got into the last time. I got called out. I got called out today.
Oh, okay.
Someone said I was making accusations to someone on SOR, and I'm like, if it was someone from SOR, I would have one-on-one literally confronted them. But I was like, really? You really think that I was making our channel? Like, when I say our channel, I don't mean like my channel. Like, I'm not stating what I started. I'm stating like what you guys started, the foundation of
it's
SOR.
ours.
And I'm like, the integrity of that. And I go, you really think that I hate anyone in here? And I said, no, I would have already told you guys. And I said, no. I said, you guys read my message wrong. But because I didn't say a name, it just became to that. So some people, it's okay.
I could
okay.
Look, if whoever that is out there, if that person came and is listening in right now, I would just say Juan is a good dude, man, and Juan has not showed anything other than that.
I want people to think that I'm a bad person because I've called someone out. Like, I didn't even call anyone out. I just called out their space and foundation. And so here it is. So we have SOR, right? That's us.
Yep.
Right? That's us. We're so tame. We look out for each other, and 100% we do look out for each other because anyone messes with you guys, I'm one of the first persons that will step in for any of you.
Right.
100%. 100%. I will step in for all of you because all of you have never been mean to me.
Right.
Have always been great to me and have always shown your compassion to me and loyalty. All right.
Right.
Next, we go to the other side. It's a fucking tornado, man. Sorry if I used the F word, but it's a twister.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
a twister.
yeah. I mean, it's just
And then,
it's a reflection, man. It's a reflection, and that's what I figured out is you know, because I told there was some beef going on in ufology between I'll say it because it was public and everybody saw it. It was
okay.
Lou Jimenez and others against others in ufology. And I always said, you know, I just told him, I was like, man, I just want you guys to get along, man. I don't even want to see you guys doing this back and forth beefing and this person calling this person's name and this person and back and forth. Like I want to be the
Right.
person to help end that beef. Like what can I do to help end that beef? You know what I mean? And that's just it's
Just stay
just
quiet.
but
To be honest,
the problem is that it was the first time when all that was actually happening a year or so ago. It was the first time that I really realized that it wasn't all love and light in ufology. I realized that there was other
right.
stuff going on here, but then when I came to the realization of all this, then my response to it or was pretty much that it's simply just a reflection of the world that we live in. If you think about it, it's literally
Mhm.
just we're on a smaller scale ufology, but there's still the
Mhm.
same dynamics at play. There's racism. There's it, which
Mhm.
which I didn't really expect initially, but there's racism. There's
Mhm.
sexism. There's all sorts, all the same things that you experience in normal life are happening right here in ufology, and it's sickening. And that's why I want to, that's why I take the stand that I take, and I try to take it in the direction I take it in, because I don't like that. And I know there's a lot of people who don't want to deal with that. And you shouldn't have to, especially on the mission that we're on right now. And the big moment the huge moment that we're in for humanity. Like this moment that we're in right now affects your kids, your grandkids, and so on and so forth down the line. And it's like, are
Yeah.
we gonna sit here and play childish games and
Yep.
bicker and spew hatred and do all that in this important moment right now? Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? So
Right.
as long as there's places where people can go to help, to be able to put out and receive back positivity, that's what we need. And I just, it. I would hope that everybody else could follow suit on that, but I know it's not possible. I know for some
Right.
people it just isn't. That's not who they are. They're just, that type of person, and they like that type of energy around them. So it's unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, it really
I don't know
shattered
if
it.
it's unfortunate. I think it's unlucky.
Okay, okay, I can take that
And
definitely.
the reason why, well, both. Sorry, I don't mean unfortunate and unlucky, but both of them. Because I mean, come on, do you not want to be informed, or
Yeah,
do you just want to be blind?
yeah, and the problem is that people have to stop being selfish, because it's not about
A
you.
little bit, yeah.
It's not about you. Like
Right,
all this stuff may not happen. All the stuff we're talking about may not even happen until we're already gone. It's gonna be the people that are still here that'll have to deal with the decisions that we're making today. And it's like, so you have to think outside of just yourself, and that's why I've been
right,
saying that, and I say that goes over to like the people in the government and the people who are keeping the secrets. Like yeah,
right,
okay, you had signed an NDA, and yeah, you might be at risk of going to jail for releasing something that would help humanity in the long run. But you have to think past yourself. Like your kids, or at some point, they may not decide to stay in politics or stay working within government programs. They may want to end up being regular people with the regular job in regular society along with us. So and if you have any conscience about yourself or morals, morality, you think about that and think about, okay, this what I'm doing here, keeping these secrets or helping keep these secrets can negatively affect my family down the line. And it's just
Yep.
you have to
Yep.
think bigger than yourself. It's bigger than you.
Yep.
And
Yeah, because it transcends upon you,
yeah,
and it
exactly.
pushes further, and then it's not just you now. It
Yeah.
involves everyone around that circle.
Exactly, exactly. Like I said, most is in a lot of cases we may not even the disclosure feels like it's or confirmation either way it feels like it's right here and it's gonna happen tomorrow, but it may not happen for another 20 years. Truthfully, like
Yeah,
fully or like we
yeah,
think it's going to. It may not have for another 30 years, 40 years. So a lot of us may not even be around at the time that it
yeah,
actually happens,
yeah. I
but it's
know that
like,
sucks. This is like the first thing that I thought when you said that.
yeah, but you have to, but
Some of us
still,
might be around.
the groundwork that we're laying right now, and you have to think about who came before you. Like the people who came before you laid groundwork for you to be
Yeah,
here today. Like I like to point out, like Stanton Freeman, the late Stanton Freeman, like all the work he did over all the years to try to help get us to the point to where we're at today, and he's not even here to be able to receive any of the benefits of where we're at
yeah.
right now.
I know, right? So you can't have
Exactly.
your champagne.
Exactly. Exactly. So, and it's just it's a disrespect to the work that they've done all those years, and pretty much a lot of their life that they spent trying to make this thing happen. It didn't happen under their watch, and now it's on to us. We're the ones who pick up that torch, and then maybe it happens under our watch, or maybe we have to pass the torch again. And it's like we need to make sure we're making the right decisions right now, and we're handling this
Right,
like adults. You
right.
know what I mean? And
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, no,
man,
100%. One of the things that I think attracted me to SOR from the get-go was the fact that when I saw Dave, was it Grant?
Grant probably, yep.
Yeah, Grant, Danielle.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, what's the other guy's name? Don't tell me because I'm gonna be straight.
Yeah, I think I know you're talking about. Go ahead.
Black guy. Like I don't remember the other guy. So, Marquis. Sorry.
Yeah, yep.
Sorry. Yeah, Marquis. And I don't remember the other dude, but I think it was the guy who draws. Sorry, dude. I know your name, but I'm not there. But okay.
They put it in the
But
chat.
what was weird was that I got introduced to them in a weird way, and I go, man, they really approach a different perspective on like the paranormal,
Exactly.
and I liked it. Like they talked about pictures and like paintings and stuff and everything, and I go, holy cow! And I'm like, man, this is stuff that I've experienced, and the stuff that you experience and everyone has experienced here. I go, look at the chat, bro.
Yeah.
You got 30.
Yeah,
And I go,
yeah, love it.
those are 30 people that are loyal to you.
Yeah.
So I go, okay, let's do this. I said, and I talked. Grant was one of the people that I gravitated or something like that. What is his name?
Who?
Yeah, Grant.
Grant? Okay.
Grant. And I go, yeah, he was one of the first people that I met. And I go, why do you guys actually bring the heat? Because he was talking about haunting pains. And so then I brought the hands that bind them, and no one knew about that until that. I go, oh yeah, that's real. And but all of you, no, I appreciate all of you. Holy cow!
Joe Monk. Let me before I bring that up, Paramore. Hey, folks, don't forget the like button when you can. It helps the show. Yeah, I would totally appreciate it.
I want to get more people to get more courage to come up. Like, come on.
Yeah, hopefully we do. You know what I mean?
Like, but everyone in my house right now has COVID.
Is that right? Oh man, that's
I swear to God, yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I just got better. So that's why I'm so giddy.
I think I might have had it, man. I'm literally just getting over something that's crazy.
Boss says we love you, Juan. Nah, come on, you guys don't love me.
No, they do. They definitely do.
Nah, they don't love me. You guys love me? Nah, I don't know. You guys don't love me.
They do. It's saying.
I have no idea why.
He hit the dislike button 2 ticks.
I swear to God, it's just because of the name.
Dog man. No,
crazy. But I really did say, like, you brought life to the weekend.
Oh, so, man, thank
God.
you. Thank you. I tried.
No,
man.
you did. You brought life to the weekend, bro.
I tried. I just tell you what, Dave Scott, when he came and we were first talking, and he just let me know, like, man, I want the weekend show to XYZ, and then I'm just like, yeah, man, I totally understand, and you know, I'm just committed. You know, obviously I have my show here that I have to keep going as well, but
I follow that too.
But my dedication though to Spaced Out Radio is just as strong as my own show. So I treat it like my own show. You know, I did. Mm-hmm. I want success to be the same. I want the message to be the same. Well, not necessarily the message, because Spaced Out Radio has its own message, but I just want to be able to add, you know, just something to it, just something to make it better.
You do.
So
look who you have. You got the Royals.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it.
Got the best
you got
view.
The Royals.
You said got the
you got the view of everyone. So it's like, I'll leave it there.
Yeah, no, it got the best viewers out there, man, and that's what I love too, man, because it's not like talking to a brick wall. Like, you're talking to people that get it. You know what I mean? And that, like that, you can't have a conversation with one person. It has to be someone else who's able to receive the information and can also give information back. And during the show, you guys are doing that in the chat. So information is being given, and then you guys are providing information right back in the chat, being receptive. And then that's what makes it a great situation. Because there's other places, like I've been on other shows, and it isn't like that. Like, the interaction isn't that way. Like, there's not a lot of people who figure they know it all, or it's everyone there is literally trying to do what it is that I'm trying to do, and what anybody's trying to do, which is figure this crazy situation out. You know what I mean? And figure out and brainstorm and spitball and do all the things necessary to try to figure this thing out. And it's something we're really all doing together. I mean, it takes you guys, and it takes the host as well. You know what I mean? The host is just a person that's good at giving information or delivering the information, or however you want to look at it, depending on what the conversation is. But it takes the viewers to be able to say something back. Because you remember during the, I'll give you an example. You remember during the, I don't like to say what it is because YouTube is always tripping, but I'll just call it the plague, right? So when we had the whole plague situation a few years ago, You had football games with no one in the stands. You had boxing matches
They had, like,
with no one in the
porn.
crowd. Right. But you see how it didn't really work? It didn't work because you
Yeah,
need
that
the
worked.
presenters and you need the soundboard, which is the participants. They all it's a dynamic that you need both. You can't just have one. You can't just have just the crowd without the presenter. You can't have the presenter without the crowd. And then if it's a great crowd, then that makes that whole experience a great experience. And then that's kind of what that's kind of what that is. So, and Dave's a great presenter. You know what I mean? And that's why I love what he does over there. And I've told him that since we've been friends for a while, since way before I came on the Spaced Out Radio. And so I would tell him this type of stuff all the time. I would say it on my own show. With man, like I love what Dave does over there, and this and that, and it's just the truth. You know what I mean? And it's giving appreciation to
Yep.
the someone's ability to do something, and it's he appreciates it, and then just like when you said the things that you said, I appreciated it. You know what I mean?
Of
Because
course.
it's
Yeah.
literally just
Thank you.
it's not raining praise on a person or doing anything like that. You're just recognizing something and then complimenting it, which is fine to do. And then
Yeah.
that can go both ways because I compliment, I recognize what you bring to a conversation, and then I'm able to compliment that too. And
hmm I
it's a
think you
two-way
do as well. I
situation.
think you do well.
It's a two-way
Yeah, you're right.
situation. And I think there's a lot more people in here. I've complimented a lot of people in here
Oh,
because
yeah.
they bring something to the
Yeah.
table. Everyone, it isn't just a one-way
Pretty much.
relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're feeding off each other, and I think
hmm
that's what really makes it work, man. And yeah, I mean, I really do appreciate everybody showing up. If you're here and so if you're lurking, that's fine. You can take your time for you hop in the chat, or if you hop in and join the
Yeah. Tell them
conversation.
to come in.
Yeah, just if you wouldn't mind, I would love to have you guys come back when we do
Yeah,
this
because
again, and hit the subscribe if you
to me,
can.
I'm just at that point where I want everyone else to have a chance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Come in.
And here's the thing, they love hearing from you too, man. So
I
at the
didn't know
same
that.
time, yeah, I mean they're shouting your name out in the crowd all the time, man. So that's what I
No,
say.
let them come in. Let them
Everybody has
push
something to
the
offer.
kid.
Everyone has
Yeah,
something to offer, and
yeah, of
um,
course, of course, of course.
you have things to offer, and believe me,
Yeah.
you do.
No, you do too, man. It's
And
not just
so
me.
does Deb from
We all
SAC.
do.
So does Susie B. So does the Dogman UK. Has Jules.
Everyone, right?
Magneticus, Paramar, Maggie
Oh
M10,
yeah, that dude is too
um,
smart.
Neil Warden. I mean, I got to go down the list because everybody has
Let's
something to
go. Yeah, I
offer.
know. Forever, everyone is so smart in here. I go like, I lost
I'm
myself in math class.
still on the fence though about Derek Galloway though. I'm still on the
Oh,
fence,
but
man.
we still have
Okay.
Let them
Yeah.
talk.
Internet is crazy, right? We just, I'm glad the internet tripped out for a minute, guys. So, but we're back here. That's crazy. I never had that happen ever. They're trying to shut the truth down. Is that what they're doing? That's usually what people say. They're trying to shut the truth down. That on this
It's
end,
not
it seemed
my
like
fault, Brown Dwarf. Are you serious?
yeah, something happened.
Brown Dwarf just told me.
Look, Jody Terry. Oh, did I step on the cord on the way in?
You know what?
Crazy. It's never happened in 1,000 streams that I've done. So, but I'm glad it came.
All you
back.
guys are hearing.
Yeah, no, me and Juan were just talking. You know, we're just talking here, but we're spitting the real, but we're just talking. Yeah,
Hey,
Juan.
everyone.
Yeah, go ahead, Juan.
No. Step up. You get someone up here, and then tell your story. I'm gonna bounce. So, like, go ahead.
Yeah.
I want you guys to tell your stories. Like, you know why? That makes sense. It makes us piece everything together, and it makes us all unity. So if you guys don't want to, then okay, that's fine. But I'm encouraging you guys to literally come on forward.
Who's saying Juan happy birthday? Is it your birthday, Juan, or what? What's going on?
No, my birthday was on October 24th.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. We sung to you on stream.
Yeah, we all hung out.
yeah.
And it was really bad.
No.
Well, no, not bad. You guys all saying happy birthday to me, but
yeah, exactly.
it wasn't that bad. So it wasn't that bad.
Look, what was I gonna say? Black Dragon said, the Men in Black shut down the connection and replaced Rob and Juan with clones. That would be a move they would probably do and redirect the broadcast and come in and start spreading some propaganda, right? Maggie M10, like, how do we know it's the real Mr. Rob G? Okay, this is how you would know.
Who said that?
Welcome everybody to the Social Dig, the greatest underrated show on the World Wide Web. I am your host, Mr. Rob G, and as always, we're going to be digging into the topics that keep you talking and the talk that keeps you thinking. So come on in, kick your feet up, get an ice cold beverage, and get ready to join the conversation. There you go, Maggie M10. A clone can't do that one.
Who said that?
Yeah, that's... Maggie M10. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, straight up, yeah, I mean, here's what I know, Juan. You know, it's especially, you know, because I thought, literally, I was in the chat at one point in time, Space Out Radio. I saw a lot of people saying that they wanted to have a voice. And this is why I started doing the viewer's voice over there and set up the voice line and played the voicemails during the after hours, and then had this over here so you could actually speak live. But then I found out, I thought, okay, a lot of people would just do it, right? Because everyone's saying, oh, we should be heard, we should. And then we get over here and not a lot of people show up. But what I found out is that it's hard for some people to do it. There's different reasons why. So, and some people just prefer to be voiced through the chat. You notice a lot of people come up without cameras. Some people don't want to be seen while they're voicing their situation. And, you know, like for some of the lurkers out there who don't yet feel comfortable enough to come into the chat. So I see there's stages to it. There's levels, and not everyone is as brave as Juan. And a few others that have come up, and hopefully they'll get there, though. I would love to have it. And, you know, the conversation can still continue even if they don't come up. Because if we have people like Juan that step up and still spit good information, then they can still walk away with something great. So, it ends up working out. Some people take little by little. Lovey Love, I wasn't even sure that she would even do it.
She brings heat.
And then she came in with the camera. I didn't even expect that. I thought maybe she'd come in on voice.
I didn't think she was going to be no camera either. I was like, she brings hot. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. So the conversation can go so many different ways. Really, this is an open platform. It doesn't necessarily, and it's been proven, we don't necessarily have to stick to the topic of UFOs. We don't have to stick to the topic of cryptids. We don't have to. We can talk about general life things. It's fine here. The only thing I ask here is that we don't jump into religion, politics, or just
hating each other.
Yeah, just any sort of hate speech or things like that. But just the general conversation. You may, something that is bothering you or it's on your mind, or, we could talk through it here. It's fine. It's an open platform for just that. So maybe that opens the floor up to a lot more people, because it isn't just stuck to one particular subject. So, I mean, just so maybe you guys didn't know that. But, yeah, this conversation is open to all sorts of things outside of just UFOs. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about pretty much anything as long as it doesn't get us flagged or banned from YouTube, as long as it doesn't just, hit those algorithms and it doesn't promote hatred or things of that nature. Yeah, I mean, because technically the conversations that we have here should be conversations that can help others and help kind of progress humanity or direct the path for that, which is what we promote here on the show. And that's so anything under that umbrella, and there's a lot of things that we could talk about that are under that umbrella. So yeah, you guys, we could talk about kids. You could talk about your relationship with parents.
I'm stepping up.
Yeah, anything. Doesn't matter.
I want someone else to come up.
Juan wants someone else to come up, guys. I don't know how many times he's gonna say this. He's gonna have to tell you guys he really wants someone to come up. And the floor is, you know what? This is funny, Juan. This is funny. So right before the show started,
I'm glad that you're not. You know what? I love you, man.
I love you too, man. I love you back, man.
I love you,
I'm
man.
serious.
I love you because you just don't. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. I mean, I'm just a real dude, man.
I'll let anyone go. Just.
I'm just a real dude, man, and
you are a real dude, man. 100%. I knew that. It's like knowing that Brown Dwarf was a real dude too.
Yeah, Brown Dwarf is definitely a real one out there too.
Yeah, man, Brown Dwarf is a real MF. So, we got someone. Do we have someone?
We do. We have.
Who do we have?
We have our guy from last night, Mr. Magneticus Attractus, the Brainiac, the mad scientist, all of the above. What's going on, Magneticus? Dude,
Not
I
much.
forgot to send you that info last
You
night.
did.
Man.
I kept looking today and I'm like going, okay, what was he going to say to me? Because I'm kind of curious now.
Look, okay, you keep talking, man. I'm going to send it to you as we sit here and talk. You guys have the floor. And
I wrote you out like a big old. I wrote you out like a big old text too, and I was like, I forgot to send it. So people have no idea how many times I got drafts like sitting in my inbox, and I don't send them. I'll spend like 3 hours writing something, and I don't send it.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah. How is his mic, Juan? How it sound to you?
How's what?
His microphone.
Can you hear me?
Oh. Oh yeah, I can hear you.
It sounds good. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. You're doing well. Yeah, it's good.
This sound is way
So
louder.
guys, yeah,
Susie B is telling me I'm too loud, so I need to adjust my. What's wrong button? I need to adjust my mic. Hold on a second here. Audio. I am like all the way down. How's that, Susie B? Am I too loud now?
I'm not gonna say.
Can you hear me now? Good.
And that's weird because to me it doesn't sound loud at all. It's weird how it's heard from the audience. I'm always amazed
I can hear you now. Yeah. You sound like you're underwater now.
Do I?
You're a Navi.
Yeah, see, but I think the audience hears him differently.
It might be in your settings, Rob. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what your soundboard looks like, so.
Yeah,
I remember.
I don't know what I can do to adjust. I can't see. That's the thing. Like I can't.
Right?
I don't.
I can't tell until the replay. You know, I can't tell until the replay, and I'm like, oh, I was like super loud. I can tell when I'm loud because when I like peak the mic and it's like flatlining, you know.
Yeah, like Juan's audio I can control because it goes through my audio interface, but your audio is just coming through the website, so directly to the audience.
Well, I got my microphone at like, what do I have it at? It's like way down there.
Yeah.
I am at 31. Oh no, it doesn't let me go. Let's see. That's 13. How's 13 sound?
Yeah, they would have to let you know.
I know they're like 6 seconds behind, so it'll be like do. Yeah, you're gonna have to deal with it. Okay, Susie B said I'm good, so I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
We got the Susie B stamp of approval. That means you, sir, are good.
Okay.
Oh, she's such a good listener.
And Susie B is the bomb. Susie B, I'm telling you. Susie B is the bomb. She sat up here many a night and you know, I'm sitting here saying some stuff though. I'm sitting here definitely saying some real stuff. And then she's right there with us. She's like, yeah, this and that, and XYZ. And I'm like, okay, love it.
Oh, Susie B takes notes. She sits there and listens and takes notes.
Yeah, Susie B's awesome.
Watch her on the camera sometime. You'll see it. Her little gears are turning, and you see them turning. She's thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, if you got something to talk about, Magneticus, you can take it away. I'm gonna dig up that info for you real quick, and send it right over.
Yeah,
I'm here
I was thinking about that today too. I was like, I wonder what he knows that I don't know. Because I know things, but I don't say things all the time, you know.
Maybe you might know this, so we'll see.
All I'm gonna say, Rob, is I got Dave's attitude of if I don't like what I'm hearing, I don't gotta listen. You know.
Exactly.
That's my attitude. I'm just I don't have to.
We have another person coming in.
Woohoo!
And she joined the conversation, and I'm gonna take a step back. That would be Deb from Sacramento. Woo-hoo. And she joined the conversation on stage with Juan and Magnetic. Deb from Sacramento. Woo-hoo. And she joined the conversation on stage with Juan and Magnetic. Deb from Sacramento. Woo-hoo. And she joined the conversation on stage with Juan. Deb from Sacramento.
Sorry, Rob. Can you guys hear me?
I hear you now.
I had to turn down the volume on my other device because I didn't want feedback and echo on you.
Yeah, we were in an infinite audio loop. You're good now. We can hear you just fine.
Deb's in here? Deb's in here?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. What's up?
Yeah. There's no way.
3 of the finest looking dudes in the UFO community are right here tonight on this panel. I gotta say, I'm swooning.
Oh, love it. Love it.
You're gonna act like the alien.
Well, Okay, Dad, you're the one that has the spooks in the middle of the night, right? At your work?
What's that?
I said you're the one with the spooks in the middle of the night at your work.
Am I the one with the spooks in the middle of the night? No.
You don't have the spooks at your workplace at night?
Oh, yeah. At my graveyard job, yeah. Well, there was only one.
Okay, well, I remember people because of details. I sometimes don't remember names and faces, but I can see a face and like remember stories, if that makes any sense, but I couldn't tell you who the person is.
I could tell you the scariest thing about that haunted store was something that happened in, well, there's the spirit world, but the scariest thing that scared me way more than that is one night someone brought in a long, shipping tube, FedEx tube, and it was leaning against the wall, and I was checking stuff in, and I noticed this long tube that was leaning against the wall, upwards. It had holes in it. And then I noticed it was like moving, and it was a really big tube, and I thought, what the hell is this? And all of a sudden, as I got closer, I thought I heard hissing. And I was like, oh, Jesus. And so I didn't touch it. And in the morning, I called animal control, and my manager got there, and someone was trying to ship a boa constrictor. That scared me way more than the thought of a spirit in the store, because that spirit protected me.
That would have been funny.
That was way scarier.
My mother would have freaked the flip out if she knew there was a snake there.
Oh, I knew it was. I knew it was a snake. I heard it hiss. I just didn't know how big it was, and I wasn't going to find out either.
Right?
Hell no.
I got out of so much trouble when I was younger because my mom was afraid of snakes. Man, I could pick up a black hose and throw it at her and say, snake, and she'd take off running the other direction. Oh, it was so wonderful.
I would have beat you within an inch of your life if you had done that to me. I'm terrified of snakes, too. That is awful. The worst prank I ever had played on me was I had a date for the 4th of July, and he knew that I was afraid of snakes, and he had been up in the Santa Cruz Mountains biking around, actually up by Lexington Dam, and he found a gopher snake, and he put it in his backpack and brought it home. And when I met him that night, he knows me. It's like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom before we, head out to see fireworks. He had taken the snake, the gopher snake, put it in the toilet, put the lid down, and he's like, aren't you going to go to the bathroom? I go, yeah, let me go really quick. And I go in there, I brush my hair, go to use the toilet, put up the lid, and I look down, and here's this snake starting to crawl out. And I was so terrified. I was just screaming. I almost ripped the door off the hinges. I actually ripped my fingernails because I was clawing at the door so fast and screaming. I run out of there, run straight down the stairs into the, courtyard. He's like, what's the matter? And he's laughing. I said, you mother, effer. I said, I can't believe you. How did that get in there? He goes, oh, I wanted to have a surprise for you. Come back. I go, I'm not coming back up there. He goes, all right, let me take the snake and I'll put it somewhere safe. So he took the snake and he put it in the shower and tied the door shut. And then I went back up there and I saw, he goes, see, it's in there. You can't get out. I go, all right. He goes, well, let's go see fireworks. So we did. We come back, late at night, about 11 o'clock. And he goes in the bathroom, goes, oh no. I go, what? And he goes, the snake got loose. I go, what? He goes, yeah, it's gone. It's not in here. And I'm in the kitchen, so I jump up on the countertops and like, oh my God, and I'm looking, everywhere and I don't see the snake. I go, you're joking, right? He goes, no, it's not here. So he starts looking around. He can't find it. And of course, where's the snake? It's in the kitchen with me laying against the side of the tile on the floor right under the counter where I'm sitting on, because it was the coolest place in his apartment. And I'm just like, after that, I'm like, I'm never coming up in here. So he got it and he finally put it, this poor snake, this poor gopher snake, taken out of its habitat and tortured and thrown in a bathtub all day. And then he finally gets out and tries to find a cool space. I kind of felt sorry for it, But he put it back in his backpack, and we took it back up to the hills that night and set it loose. I'm like, that was so unfunny that if you ever do anything like that again, we're never going out again. And we ended up just being friends. But He didn't get any kisses that night. That was really rotten, though, don't you think? Or is it funny? It's funny now, but
You want to hear what I did in high school? This is what I did in high school.
yeah.
So, Young and his gang asked me if they gave me some gas money if I drive them around town on a Friday night. I think it was. It was either Friday night or Saturday night. Probably a Friday night. But so there was one girl in the crowd, and what did we do? Oh yeah, we went out and took them out to the Boy Scout camp. And you got to remember, I'd never seen Boy Scouts out at this Boy Scout camp ever. Got told I could go fish there, just leave the place as I found it. You know what I mean? And so we're sitting out there, and it was dark, and I remember there was Boy Scouts out there, and I'm like, oh, what do you know? And so whoever was in charge, I was like, we're just gonna go walk down to the lake and back. Is that okay? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. So we walked down to the lake, and I got bored, and I found a stick and a rock somewhere along the way when I'm walking to the lake. And I started telling the story about how I was down there fishing at the lake and seen a half man, half gator in the water. And I took the rock, I threw it in the water, and then I snapped the twig and said, there he is. And that girl went screaming out of that woods like somebody was trying to murder her. And we all had a hard time trying to keep up with her. So we get back to the Boy Scouts, camped out, and the scout leader was like, what did you do? And I told him, just what I told you. He starts laughing. We get to the parking lot, and there's two guys in black, and they whip open their trench coats to show their badges. And I was like, oh, great. And so they asked what was going on, and I told them what was going on, and they started laughing. So me and the young gang, we all piled up in the truck, and we're heading back to town. We're just about to get into town, and all of a sudden, I see the police officer's lights behind me, and we got pulled over, and I was like, what in the world? And so he comes up to the window, and he's like, you know what I stopped you for? And I'm like, no. He's like, you got no tail lights at all. And I'm like, what? And I said some obscenities, and I got out of the car, and I went back and looked for myself. And sure enough, just like the officer said, the whole back of my truck was dark.
Whoa.
What I forgot is I was hiding from my stepmother, because I used to like to go fishing and hide from my stepmother. Now, remember, I had bright orange, competition orange truck, right? How do you hide a bright orange competition truck? You get what I'm saying? Not something easy to hide. So what I found, I could back down in this holler, and nobody would see me. She could drive right by, and you wouldn't even see my truck because it was down in the hillside. You know what I mean? And no, actually, I went down nose first. That was my mistake. I went down the hill nose first, and then when I tried to back out, I couldn't get out of the hill. So I had to walk back to town. Got my uncle. He got his station wagon, and apparently I threw the log chain across all my lights on the back of my truck when I hooked that log chain to drag my truck out of the hill, off the hillside. And so that's why I had no lights. So anyways, the officer, he was like, you're going to have to park your truck here and, come back and get it in the daylight. You know what I mean? And I was like, if I don't come home with my truck, my dad will kill me. And so the officer, he's like, hold on a second. He goes back and he's talking to the other officer for a minute. And then he comes back and he's like, okay, we'll follow you home. And later that week, I was sitting at the saloon with my dad, and he's like, see that man up at the bar? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, go tell him thanks. I'm like, for what? He's like, for not giving you a ticket that night. That's what for. I was like, oh, okay. So that's when I learned, my father was connected to the local police. And, yeah. My classmate, I was drunker than a skunk, and I'm sitting there talking to the officer, and my friends were like, what are you talking to him for? And I'm like, because I can. And they're like, you know how much you had to drink? And I'm like, what's he going to do? Tell me not to drink? I know what he does in his free time,
Hey, some of the best weed and liquor gets confiscated from people by the cops. So they're out on their
Yeah.
they're out on their night watch. They want to party too.
Oh yeah.
I
Proven.
missed that Purple Passion. That was some good stuff. You can't
Mm.
get it in Washington. All I know is it comes a 2-liter bottle and it's pre-mixed. This stuff is like so good. It'll get you so drunk. Oi, oi, oi.
Yeah. I'm in sunny California, so you know what's going on out here, man. And it's always a beautiful day out here, is what I'll say.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Even when it's raining, it's still nice
Exactly.
here. We got some rain here today in Sac. It was wonderful. God, I love the rainy season.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. It didn't stretch
Yeah.
down here. I was kind of jealous too, because
Yeah.
so I was trying to
Come to
say
Seattle in the
we
9-month rainy season.
exactly. Yeah,
We
I
got like
know.
9 months of rain up here.
I flew out there. It was one of my probably second or third time I've been to Tacoma SeaTac Airport, and as I'm flying in, um, the moon is we're above the clouds obviously, but we're coming in for landing, so we're coming right above the clouds, and it just looked like an ocean of clouds out there, and out of nowhere we see this like a landmass sticking up out of the cloud,
Oh, the
and it was
Cascades?
no, it was Mount Rainier.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
it was the
Ooh,
top of Mount Rainier, but it was so
nice.
freaky creepy because literally the clouds, as far as the eye could see, the moon shining off the clouds, and then all of a sudden this big landmass sticking up out the clouds. It looked like just like an island in the ocean, but it was the top of Mount Rainier, which is a
Sitting on
really
top of the
scary
clouds.
sight. If you have not seen Mount Rainier in person, it is a scary thing. Oh my God, it is scary. And you live out there with it, Magneticus. I don't know how you do it, buddy.
Well, there's the Olympics and the Cascades for the two mountain ranges, and I'll never forget the first time I realized there was two mountain ranges. You know what I mean? Because like usually I've seen the mountains on the east, and then one I don't remember where I was going. I was traveling north somewhere, and all of a sudden I seen mountains to the west. And I'm like, wait a minute, where am I? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I was
Now,
used to always, hmm.
is that where the Mount St. Helens is?
Mount St. Helens is South Rainier, like towards Oregon.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Okay, because
Yeah, Mount
Rainier,
St. Helens is Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
That's up in Washington, yeah.
No,
yeah,
no,
that's
you
where
have like
you live, right, Magneticus?
yeah, you got like there's Rainier, there's St. Helens, and then there's Hood, I think, are like the three volcanoes like all along the coast here. So, and if
And
Rainier goes, that'd make St. Helens look like nothing. So,
exactly,
and
just what I
St.
was gonna
Helens is
say.
a mess. Because I
Here,
That's a
remember,
scary thought.
here's the
because
scary
St.
thing
Helens
is,
was 1980. St. Helens was 1980. I didn't come to Washington until 92, 93. And I
Hmm.
remember a guy sitting there going, see those white lines? That's the ash from Mount St. Helens.
Hmm.
You know, 10 years
I had,
later, there were still layers of ash on the ground in different places. So,
I had
yeah.
friends. I had friends that lived there when it blew, and one of them was in Kennewick, Washington, and she mailed me some ash that was still fresh. That it was everywhere, and then she took pictures and sent me pictures, and then some other people who I knew came down the next year, and they were giving me graphic details about when it blew and living there and what they went through. And I mean, talk about traumatic. I mean, just absolutely
yeah,
terrifying. But the most interesting things I ever heard about after, it blew was the recovery of Bigfoot bodies. And I've heard stories about that, and I totally believe them.
Oh,
yeah.
in
I didn't
Yelm,
think about that.
Washington, there's people in Yelm that talk about the Bigfoot, and before St. Helens, they'd go through Yelm. They'd actually go through Yelm, Rainier, what else is over there? But up in that area. But after St. Helens, it was like they changed their route. their migration route or whatever. Like apparently they migrate through, I don't know. And so, yeah, I don't know. Never seen one, but I know people look for them and other people talk about them. And yeah, so yeah. Before I ever met any of you guys,
I haven't seen one, but I totally believe they're real. And my cousin is married to a fire captain, and he's actually been involved in the recovery of Bigfoot bodies out of forest fires, after forest fires. And I keep trying to get him back when there was a fader night. I used to try to get him to call in and talk to Jimmy and disclose some of it. And he's like, no, there's no way because, I've got my retirement to think about. I can't do that. I go, well, when can you? He goes, I don't know, maybe in 10 years, but that's never going to happen because there's no fader night anymore. But maybe some night, after he retires, he can call in here and talk about it. But he's really guarded about it. He wouldn't give me too much detail. He said he's basically all he would tell me was, actually he told me quite a bit. He said he's involved in the paperwork and getting rid of the bodies. And they work with the Bureau of Land Management and the Forest Service. Both of them are involved. And he also told me that they live underground in caves, as far as they can tell.
Well,
and
that's the other thing. You got the ape caves. That's what the name of the place is, ape caves.
Yeah, so it makes sense. But I mean, they recover them from all over the Sierras up this way. So, all over the place, the bodies are recovered. And one of the reasons he says one of the reasons they don't find Bigfoot bodies is because he believes, and he was told by, some Indian tribe that they basically eat their own and that it's a spiritual thing. And they consume the bodies as part of a spiritual ascension thing for them. It helps them pass over when they consume each other's bodies, which I had never heard anything like that. So, yeah, weird stuff. And he's totally credible. I mean, I believe every word he's saying. He wasn't drunk or anything, I have to get him drunk just to talk about it because he's so guarded. Yeah, but he takes it very seriously. Huh?
I said loose lips sink ships.
Absolutely.
My wife at one of her office or work parties, she was asking why I was giving her boss so many beers, and I'm just like, you have no idea. I can get people talking. Give me enough time, I'll get them talking. It's like, what do you like to drink? Oh, okay, here you go. Here, you want another? So how was work today? Yeah. That's how I found us on stuff sometimes. Get people drunk.
Well, it doesn't hurt. It loosens them up and they're more open to conversation. They feel more comfortable. And, as long as they're lucid enough and they can properly communicate, they're not just babbling and they can coherently communicate what they want to say. And it's an interesting, conversation, then sure, but some people when they're drunk, they just get sloppy and then it's like, oh, forget it. I'm out. I don't, I'm not up for this. But yeah, sometimes a little drinky poo. I have a confession to make. In my whole life, I've never taken a straight shot of hard liquor.
Really?
Never. Really. Well, I grew up in church, so I've never been a big drinker. I'm not saying I haven't had hard liquor like mixed into a daiquiri or something like that, but I've never taken a straight shot of like bourbon or vodka or hard liquor ever. So I'm a square.
You wouldn't be able to handle it.
But anyway,
it takes the edge off sometimes. When you are worked up and you need to take the edge off, that's the excuse at least that people use to take a shot, to take the edge off. For me, it works. I'm not an overindulger. I was as in my younger years, but it doesn't feel good to go past your limit. You know what I mean? I'm not. I can't. You don't enjoy yourself once you get past your limit. So
no, just a nice little buzz is good for me. One glass of wine does it.
Yeah.
One glass of rosé and I'm good.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, I'm gonna bow out of the back here because my iPad is dying. Darn it! I always notice I wait too long to call in, and then my darn iPad's dying. So I'm gonna let you guys take over, and I'm gonna bow out, but I'll be in chat listening. And thanks for letting me
Thank you,
in. You
Dev,
guys
for
are awesome.
coming. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Okay, hon. Night.
Take care.
All right.
All right, guys. That was
next?
Deb from Sacramento. Sacramento, the capital of California, where I'm from, essentially. But no, Magnetic is. First of all, I sent you the thing I was gonna send you.
I
sent
seen
it.
that.
Okay.
I got an
So
email.
the other thing was Rainier though, right? So when I first come
there's a town called Rainier. There's a town called Rainier.
Well, Mount Rainier, I mean.
There's a Mount Rainier, and then there's a town called Rainier.
No, Mount Rainier is, and correct me if I'm wrong, is about probably 100 miles from Tacoma, or is it a little closer?
No, it's closer to Tacoma. Mount Rainier is actually probably closer to Tacoma than Seattle.
How far would you say it is from Tacoma?
Let's see, to like Paradise. What is it? 40 miles from Tacoma to Paradise?
I'm sure I can find out right now.
About an hour.
I wanna set the stage before I say this here. Rainier, Tacoma. Let's see. According to Google,
because you'd get on Highway 7 and you go all the way out into the middle of nowhere.
60 miles.
So like
59, an hour and 15 minutes out. Yeah, Highway 7 south.
Yeah.
So just to set the stage for you here, 60 miles away from the city of Tacoma.
Right.
And when I go there, the first time I'm because I used to go there all often to do shows and things like that, but I never was there during the daytime. We'd always leave and we're gone. Right. So I never paid attention to any of this. But my sister lived there, and one of the times I go up there, I decide to stay behind and stay there for about a week or two. So the first day of that 2-week period, when I come outside and I see this huge mountain, before I understand what it is, this is when I find out what it is. And my sister tells me that it's a volcano, it's Mount Rainier. Mm-hmm. You can see this thing it's 60 miles away. You can see this thing tower over any skyline in the city. It doesn't matter where you're at in the city. When you walk outside, you can see this thing towering above any house line, any tree line, and it's prominently just up there. And it's so freaky and scary because it is so far away, and you can literally see it from anywhere in the city. Now, on top of that, it has this year-round ice cap on the top, and it's there year-round. And it's a glacier.
Look at the crater. And you look at the glacier too.
Now, with that being said, while I was down there, just so happened, because I like to watch Discovery Channel, those types of channels. So just so happened, and this was in 2000, probably 2001, 2, 3, somewhere like that. Just so happened when I was there, a documentary about Mount Rainier came on TV. And the way that it started was as if an eruption was happening, and it had like the alarms going off and things like that. And so what it said in that documentary, which is just blowing my mind when I think about it, is, for one, the year-round glacier on top of the mountain. Once that thing erupts, first of all, it's going to be like 20, 30 times the strength of Mount St. Helens. If anyone remembers Mount St. Helens, it's going to be like 20, 30 times that as far as devastation goes. They said just from the glacier melting off of the mountain and the water that runs off of that is going to...
it's going to take out a whole bunch of places along the way, along the valleys there.
Is going to destroy... not not even having anything to do with what the eruption is going to do. The eruption, the picture they painted in that documentary, they said essentially the entire Pacific Northwest is gone when that thing erupts. It's just going to be gone.
Nah, it's not going to be that bad, but it's going to be a mess. Most of Seattle, it's like if you look at Rainier from the with the map of elevation, you know what I mean? So you can see where the high spots and low spots are, and just follow the valleys right into the Puget Sound, and everything in those valleys is going to get like just buried in mud and a mudslide.
From the mudslide,
from the mudslide. That's not from the ash or anything else. That's just the mudslide from the water sitting on the mountain. But you notice it's probably not going to go off because they seem to be moving like south. And if you, I can't remember what show I watched about Yellowstone, but Yellowstone, its mantle has moved from like the West Coast all the way to Wyoming at this point. There's like actually a chain of volcanoes along from the Pacific Ocean to Yellowstone, just so you know.
That just blows your mind, man, when it comes down to it, that something that destructive sits right up under our noses. I mean, if you think about, was it Pinatubo? Which one was the one that was on the island? I think it was Pinatubo. The one, and they had a no. It's from ancient times. It's I think it's Krakatoa.
No, you're close though. I know what you're talking about too, because they found people
like Pinatubo, maybe.
In ash.
Yeah, and it has all the people encased in ash they dug up. Yeah. So it just think of cases like that where the volcano just blew up and just took everything out in its vicinity, because that's essentially what happened there. And they're just saying that because Rainier doesn't really have a release on it, it doesn't really have a release valve, that the pressure that it's going to take for it to blow is going to be so colossal that it's going to that's what's going to be the destructive force, is going to be because it has to literally blow that mountain apart in order to release the
well, that's what St. Helens did too. Is it literally just blew. It like blew out the side of the mountain.
Yeah,
and it didn't blow out the top of the mountain. It blew out the side of the mountain.
Yeah, and I don't know what makes it so much worse. Is that documentary was like 20 years ago, but they were literally painting a picture. They essentially showed the United States map, and they said Pompeii. Neil Warden got
Pompeii,
it. Pompeii,
that's it. Pompeii. I knew it started with a P. I kept thinking P, and I was like,
I was like, Pinatubo? No, Pompeii. Yes. So this would be a Pompeii sort of situation. But on the map, they had Washington, they had Oregon, and then I think Idaho, and they essentially were like, as far as life goes, I don't know if they were essentially saying human life or just life, wildlife, but they literally were like, essentially the Pacific Northwest is over with. First, you're going to get the floods from the glaciers, and then you're going to get this aftermath, and it's just going to devastate the entire Pacific Northwest. And I was there. I'm sitting in Tacoma looking at this mountain. I'm good. After I watched the documentary, I walk outside and I'm just seeing this big mountain. I'm like, I got to get out of here, dude. I don't know when that thing is going to blow.
Traffic. And then you see the traffic around here, and you're going, if something happened, how in the hell are you going to get out of here?
Period, dude. And it's just it's so imposing, because you can't go anywhere in the city without seeing it. And even when you go over to Seattle, you can see it clear as day. It's right there. It feels like it's right there, but it's so many miles away. But it's just, the scary part is how it towers over everything in the city. Except for like skyscrapers and things like that, but just a normal neighborhood. It doesn't matter how far away you get from it, you can still clearly see half of the volcano sticking up over the house lines anywhere in the city. And it's just so, it's like one of those, it's like one of the wonders of the world sort of situations where it's like it's beautiful and it's amazing, but then when you understand what it can do, then it's like, dude, this is just a ticking time bomb right here.
Right.
And I never understood. I used to tell my sister, I was like, you gotta move from here, man. That thing could blow at any time. And the dude on TV just said that it's gonna be like this, but it's been 20 years, hasn't happened. But they said it isn't about if, it's about when it blows.
When. Right.
Like it's going to blow, but they just don't know when.
When. Yeah. Well,
that was sad,
another
man.
thing I noticed living out here was before the earthquakes, is being able to tell how there was going to be an earthquake before there was an earthquake. That's one thing
okay.
So years ago, I was really big into fish and stuff, and I had my aquariums. I kept noticing my fish jumping, which they usually didn't jump, out of the water, but they kept jumping. I was talking to my friend, he was like, yeah, my fish keep jumping and hitting the top too. And it wasn't until after the earthquake we realized the fish were trying to tell us something. I don't know how those fish knew there was about to be an earthquake, but that's why the fish were jumping out of the water. And one of the fish stores I used to go and get fish supplies, they had, who Mix-a-Lot is, right? Famous rapper. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they had one of his exotic catfish in there, and that thing jumped out of the enclosure. And it was a big fish. It wasn't like, a little fish. It was a big fish. So there was a lot of money in that fish.
And you say it would jump out of the enclosure?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the catfish that Sir Mix-a-Lot had was probably 2-3 feet long, It was a big catfish and had a big enclosure, but that thing jumped out of its enclosure, And my fish were jumping and hitting the glass, and my friend's fish were jumping and hitting the glass. And when my friend, he got a 90-gallon aquarium, and he bought this TV stand thing to put his aquarium on. I'm like, are you sure you want to use that for an aquarium stand? And he was like, why? And I'm like, it's solid enough. It'll hold the weight. I'm like, yeah, it'll hold the weight pushing down on it. But what happens when the weight starts going side to side? And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, what if we have an earthquake and that 90 gallons of water starts going side to side? Is it going to be able to handle, shaking it side to side, And so he went and got a different stand, and he thanked me because we had a 6-point something or something hit, and he told me he lost about half the water in his tank because the tank was literally sloshing back and forth, so.
Yeah. There, I'm in earthquake zone, obviously.
Right.
So yeah, I was living in Sacramento at the time, but when the Loma Prieta earthquake happened, San Francisco, I remember the moment that it happened because we were watching the World Series, the Giants versus the A's, San Francisco versus Oakland. Imagine that. Just ironic. San Francisco versus Oakland, and then the biggest earthquake since 1901 hits the city. It was crazy. You could feel it all the way in Sacramento. And I just remember they went to the news. They went from the game to the local news station in Sacramento, and they had these blinds, these vertical blinds, and behind them they had the news logo on it, and they were just swaying back and forth, and they were like, "Oh, there's an earthquake." We didn't know what really happened. We just knew there was an earthquake because of the game, and then from what they said, but we hadn't seen the damage until a little later. The damage was crazy. The Bay Bridge, when they showed the upper deck collapse and that car fall down into it, I crossed that bridge so many times, and I used to be so afraid prior to the earthquake because it's so high up off the water. And so when I saw that image of that happening, I'm like, dude, I could have been on that bridge easily. We go pass through there all the time. So it was wild. And then they had
it's
a
like driving
freeway
across
called
the Narrows Bridge after seeing the Galloping Gertie video. You know what I mean?
what's the Galloping Gertie?
The Tacoma Narrows Bridge, the original one. It was catching the wind and it just started like flopping back and forth until it just literally collapsed.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen something on that.
Yeah, they just call it Galloping Gertie, you know.
It reminded you of the Golden Gate Bridge, right?
Well, no, I'm just saying when you travel across the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, the new bridges, it's like after you see that video, it makes you, you're like, always wonder if like, what's going to happen if like a big earthquake hit while you're on it, you know what I mean, or something,
It just shows it's something that because like I said, that bridge was old though at the time. Obviously, it was really old, but it appears to be rock solid, and then it just shows you that something simple as the earthquake can make it pretty much fall
when you
to
just
pieces.
See it like the Tacoma Narrows. I mean, that thing was flopping like a soft tortilla, you know what I mean? But it was made out of iron beams and concrete and everything else,
Yeah, and I used to there was a freeway that used to go through Oakland it was Interstate 880, and it was it went right through the city. It was just raised. It was almost like if you think of Chicago, they have the elevated trains, the L trains, and they're just elevated right above the city, go right all through the city, but elevated. That's how this freeway was, and it was stacked so that the bottom level went one direction and then the upper level went the opposite direction. And that's the one that pretty much sandwiched all those people. It collapsed and sandwiched all those people in there. There were so many people trapped inside of that because it was the middle, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon, evening when it hit. It was rush hour traffic. And so it was so many people on the road, on the freeway in the Bay Area. If you ever been there, the freeways are always packed, especially at that time. So it was just so crazy because obviously, I'm in Sacramento. I frequent all those areas. I drive on all those roads. So it was just so wild to see that, see that happen. And I was scared because I was a kid at the time, and I would just be so scared from that moment for like years. It took a few years before I was just petrified to be in Oakland or San Francisco. We had family there, and we'd have to go there. We'd have to go visit, and I used to just be so afraid that it was going to happen again while we were there. It was pretty traumatic. Now that I think about it as being older, and I look back, I was looking at it then like, oh, I'm just scared, just being scared. Now it was actually because it was pretty traumatic experience to kind of live through, you know what I mean?
Well, I remember my first earthquake I ever experienced was in Texas or Oklahoma. And I always remember me and my brother were like watching TV, and whoever was watching us was in the other room. And then all of a sudden, everything just started shaking. The cabinet doors were opening and closing and stuff. And me and my brother just kind of looking at each other like, what's going on here? Felt like it was like Poltergeist house or something, you know what I mean? And the babysitter came out, what are you guys doing? And we're just sitting here, you know what I mean? And it wasn't until we went outside and everybody else was outside and, trying to figure out what happened, that the babysitter accepted that we weren't running through the trailer, making the cabinets open and close and stuff, But, and then the next one wasn't until I was out here in Washington, and I was helping my stepdad move a piece of furniture, and we're backing up into a carport. And it was like one of those situations where you only got like a couple inches of clearance, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the earthquake literally hit at the same time that we were just like within inches of the carport, and we thought we hit the carport. And when things started shaking, we thought we hit the carport. And it wasn't until you started looking around and you see all these other carports like swaying around and stuff, and you're like, no, we didn't hit those. You know what I mean? There's something else going on. Then people start coming out other houses and what was that? You know, and then the second one that I experienced in Washington, I was sitting on the toilet. I always remember sitting on the toilet thinking my neighbors were running up the stairs and then all of a sudden my back hit the toilet tank and then my back hit the toilet tank again. And I'm like, that's not my neighbors.
Dude, I'm showing people right now what Mount Rainier looks like over Tacoma.
Yep. Oh, you should have got one where the cloud ring is around it. That's a better picture.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for one right now.
If you can find that halo ring. Find one with the halo ring around it. Because that halo ring means it's going to, what was it with halo ring? There's something with the halo ring. The weather's going to change when that halo ring is around the mountain.
This thing right here, just wanted to get in contrast with the actual city.
Yeah, that is what it looks like in many places. You got this big old mountain just towering over the skyline.
Period. Just huge, massive, just sticking up out of nowhere too. Let me get this. This is a good one too here.
Try that in your search. Mount Rainier Halo. And see if you get the one with the halo cloud around it. Because that's when it looks impressive, when you see the mountain sticking up over the clouds. Because that would explain how you seen it when you're like coming in and seeing it sticking up over the clouds.
Oh, here goes. I think this is the halo picture here.
See, is it gonna change?
Yeah, hold on.
Do 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 do. Sad, I'm like sitting here trying to figure out what perspective that picture's from.
So this one is oh shoot. Okay.
Didn't change.
Let me add Susie B to the stage though first. Susie B, thanks for coming.
Here's Susie B.
This is Mount Rainier, just on a normal day. This is the one you're talking about. Let me stop screen and share this one. This is from Gig Harbor, I guess.
That's not a very good picture of the halo cloud, but yeah.
That's not what you mean, because I looked.
Well, I mean that is the halo cloud. It's just not a good picture of it. That's all I'm saying.
Let me see here.
I just can't remember what the weather does when it has that around it.
Yeah, I'm looking through a bunch of pictures here. I don't see one technically with the halo on it or around it.
If you search Mount Rainier Halo, it should come up.
Yep, that's what I did. Mount Rainier Halo.
You're not getting a bunch of clouds around the mountain.
And I'm getting this one. This one might be closer to what you're talking about here.
You said that was from Gig Harbor? Gig Harbor.
Are you seeing? Okay, you're not seeing. Hold on, let me do this one. It is this one. Let's see. Share this tab.
See, that's got the low-lying clouds in there. See, that one is pretty good because you can see the clouds right there above the ridge line there, and then you see the peak of the mountain sitting up above the clouds.
And the thing is like as majestic and as tall as it seems in this photo is a good representation, because how you're looking at the tree line there and then this thing just sticks up over the tree line. That's essentially anywhere you're at in the city, it sticks up over the tree line in the same fashion at the same height.
There's a lot of places that are like good little viewpoints that's just like, boom, that mountain is just like, it looks huge, even though, like you said, you're 60 miles away from it, you know? So
60 miles away and you still see it this good. And it's a volcano though. Something
yeah,
that at some point is going to blow. But that just think of that. It's not a mountain. This is a volcano. And this thing is
it's
bound
blowing.
to blow. It's gonna be a bad day for anybody in that vicinity when that happens. It's gonna be a bad day, man. That's why I'm glad my sister moved from there because, dude, it's so scary. Like you can feel it almost through the photo, but if you ever get the chance to visit Seattle or Tacoma, you'll see in person and how amazing volcanoes are. I mean, they're scary, but they're beautiful at the same time. And it's just amazing because
And
you've
go to
seen a mountain before.
and go to Mount St. Helens. Actually, go to Mount St. Helens Visitor Center. Because even after 30, well, 40 years now, right? Yeah, because it was 1980. So it's been like 40 years. I mean, there's like still hardly anything growing out there. You can still see the trees, you know, just blown over. You know what I mean? Like literally just
Hmm.
blown over.
Yeah, it was
It's
bad. Mount St. Helens was bad.
yeah,
But this is gonna be worse. This is gonna be worse, man. And
that's
this
what they
is
claim.
that's what they claim. And then we have one of obviously Yellowstone be the other one, bad
Yeah,
one
that one
here
would
in the
be a mess
United
if it goes
States.
off. That one would definitely be a
But
mess if it goes off.
this is it's just man. I've never forgotten how I felt. Let's see. Maybe this is a good one here.
Did you
Yeah,
see
this.
Maggie M. Tim's remark about blah, 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 blah,
Let me check.
Lineker? Some
Let
kind
me
of cloud
check
she
it
said
out.
there.
Oh,
Lenticula.
lenticular clouds. Yeah, that's a type of cloud. Yeah. Let me save this. Save as. Let me open this one up. This one's even more makes you feel it, like the scale. Let me see this one here. Let's see, save. Okay.
Oh yeah, Mount Baker. I forgot about Mount Baker. Mount Hood, Mount Adams, Helens, Rainier.
Okay, here we go. Stop. Present.
Is Susie wearing glasses? Or is it just my imagination?
Your
Yeah,
imagination.
that's okay. That's more like it.
That's
That's
more
more
like it, right? So now you can get a
see that
scale of how this
that's what
thing,
you were seeing when you flew in. Is something like that.
right,
Except
with
for it's
just
in
the
all
top of it
clouds.
sticking out over
You
the
just see
top.
that mountain sticking up out of the clouds.
But
Exactly.
imagine when I was telling you, you can see it over the tree line of anywhere in the city. So imagine being anywhere in the city and how tall, and that thing is 60 miles away from where this person is taking a picture. And it is unbelievably high up in the sky, and it kind of just sticks up out of nowhere. Just this really gives you the feeling, though, of this more
Yeah,
so
because you
gives
got
you
the
that
clouds sitting
feeling.
in there. So it's
Yeah,
like
that is,
literally it's above the clouds.
and that up top is there year round. That's just a glacier up there, so that regardless the temperature, that's up there all the time. the entire time. And they say when that melts, it's gonna get pretty. It's gonna be pretty hectic, man. Yeah, Paramore, awesome. Yeah, cool and scary at the same time. Imagine being there though, dude, in person. I'm telling you, it is scary. It is scary. It is not. It is just very, very scary. Yeah, Angels Are Life, Mount Baker, Mount Rainier, Mount Adams, three major mounts in Washington State. Yeah, but this is the granddaddy of them all right here. But yeah, if you look at it, imagine so that the cloud line right there. So I'm flying in, and that's high. I don't know how many thousands of feet that is where the cloud line is. But imagine that being one sheet of clouds all the way around that mountain, and as far as the eye could see.
That's all you see is that
and
one mountain sticking out of the clouds.
You're flying in, and all of a sudden, this piece of land is in the sky with you, and it's unreal the way that makes you feel. It's like literally a huge landmass sticking up out the clouds.
I've known a few people have climbed all the way up there.
Yeah, I would never. I don't want nothing to do with that volcano, man. Nothing to do with it. But truthfully, just being truthfully, you guys, if you ever get the chance to go, it's a beautiful thing. You're definitely gonna take pictures. It's beautiful. There's no other way to put it. But it's just super imposing. If you're
gonna come out here, you need to spend about a week, to be honest, at least. And that's just like, that'll give you the tip on the iceberg. And you just need to go like the 101 route around the peninsula, and you want to see some cool things. There's some cool things out there. So
yeah, but it's it is so freaky though, man. It's freaky. All right, so Susie B, thanks for coming and joining us. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so have you been to Washington? Have you seen anything, crazy like this, or anything you can tell us about?
No, I've never been to Washington.
What do they got? Were you in Arizona?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know there's a lot of, I don't know about scary stuff, but I know they have a lot of it, which I was trying to go see when I was passing through there, were petroglyphs. Have you gone to see the petroglyphs out there?
No, not really.
They have a lot of them out there.
We had some in Kingman where I in my when I moved from California, there was some out there. Yeah, there was some in Kingman. I was working for the BLM to graduate high school, and the area they assigned to me was a fairly big area with a bunch of boulders with petroglyphs on them. A lot of swirl symbols, and people and animal symbols.
Yes. From ancient
Kingman
people.
Is like right before you go into Nevada, right? Towards Las Vegas. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
And then you got your West Rim from the Grand Canyon. Colorado River separates the Arizona and Nevada side.
That's crazy. When I see them, I always wonder what they were doing that day when they were sitting there carving those. Like, what type of day was it? What was the thought process? Were they really doing it? Were they doing it knowing that thousands of years down the line we would see these? You know what I mean? That's the type of stuff I think about. Let me see.
Makes me think of like Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome with the children.
That's a bad movie. Badassery.
That movie is like my motivation some days. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I was showing you guys the record playing the other day. Or whenever I was that one night.
Let me get that one up here. I don't know how to share it automatically, so I just want to do it this way.
Yeah, the Superstition Mountains. I still got to get there, Nikki.
Yeah, all these ancient symbols, and man, like someone said they probably didn't do this all in one day at one time, but I wonder, was it, like, how did this serve purpose in their time? Was this, is this where you left a message for other people? And then when they came by, they saw your message and sort of thing, like texting almost? Or
Oh,
did they really understand that this would probably be here for thousands of years, and let's tell our story, through these petroglyphs, like, because obviously we look at it like that, we look back on it like that, like a story was being told, but it could have just been normal, regular, everyday life, where they were just leaving a message and
well,
just part of their day.
what if it was an area map?
Or that too. That's how I look at the Nazca lines for sure.
Mm.
Is that and that's the thing. Like when you get into historians tell stories based off of their idea of it or their theory behind why they did it, and sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean that their explanation of why this was done is going to be the true explanation. So I think this is still one of those things where you just have to, maybe throw a guess at it. It could be this, could be that, could be simple as text messaging. It could be something as complicated as they wanted us to know thousands of years down the line. They wanted to make sure they left a mark. It could be, a map, like you stated. It could be, who knows? It could be a thousand different things. But it would be fun to know, like to be able to go back to the day it was being done and kind of get the real understanding of why they left
What their
these
mindset
things.
was.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be cool.
Mystery caller. Oh, yes, I think I did. So, is Mike Jones here tonight? Okay, I think this is someone Mike Jones knows because he would always ask me, did Roseanne leave you a message yet? And I was like, who? Roseanne? I don't know a Roseanne. And he would always ask me that at different chats, and I didn't understand. So I asked him one day. We were both over at um, David Devine's channel, and he asked me in that chat. He said, "Did Roseanne leave you a message?" And I was like, "Mike, who is Roseanne?" Like, he was like, "Oh, this lady, she said she was going to leave you a message." And then I was like, "Oh." I was like, "That's the message that we played during the show." And everybody, no one could figure out who it was. I was like, "Oh, okay, that was her." So apparently it's a lady named Roseanne. Mike Jones knows. I think she's viewed us before, or she's lurked or hung around. But yeah, it was a lady named Roseanne, Maggie M10. Mystery solved thanks to Mike Jones.
Well, who is she in SOR?
I don't think she's at SOR. That's the thing. Yeah, I think she's from like some of the channels that he frequents, and then because he comes over here as well, that she also came over here. And that's who I thought originally, Deborah Sack, when he was leaving me the message. I was like, Roseanne Barr? Like, it's the only Roseanne I know. Like, who are we talking about? Roseanne who? Who? And then finally, I called him at a different show, and we were both in the chat, and I asked him, and yeah, he said it was a lady named Roseanne, I guess someone he knows, who apparently has watched the show, and but I don't think she's been to Spaced Out Radio. I'm not sure about that one. So yeah,
Well,
that's the
you know what's
mystery.
funny is when I'm on here with you, I forget there's other people like listening to our conversation. I really do.
That part too.
I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
do.
yeah.
It's like I'm not talking to a whole bunch of people. I'm talking to a person.
Right.
And poor
Yeah, yeah,
love
yeah.
I think she's a dude, and it's like, no, I look at the chat room and I go, human or robot? That's my first question. Is, are you human or are you a robot? That's my first question. And then after I figure out if you're a human versus a robot, I try to figure out what type of human you are.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. No, they're here. They're here. They're in there chatting and answering questions. All right, Neil. Have a good rest of your day, man. Off to walk the dog right before work. Yeah, get the doggies on out there, man. My dogs are obviously here in California is one, a little after one. So yeah, sometimes I'll let them out though. Like if I'm up like this and I go in and they're up, then I'll let them out at one. But other than that, they're under the covers, sleep in bed.
Hey, you know what I noticed tonight? I haven't heard your smoke detector beep one time. You changed the battery?
It's dead, man. It died.
Yeah.
It died a horrible death. It died a horrible death. But that's funny, man. It's funny, man, that you called that out, man, because I was like, you probably couldn't hear it over there because it's in a whole nother room. And I was like, when it gets to beeping like that, because it's not even one that's on a wall. That's the thing. It's one we took down and we had replaced with a different one. But its battery when it was started dying. So it's not even one that's in use. It's just
Right.
a one that was randomly sitting around and it started beeping recently. And I thought it was in here, but the one in here is fine, so it wasn't.
Right.
And we had to find it because it wasn't on a wall. It was
And they only
sitting.
beep like every 20 minutes or whatever. So it's like once you hear it, you go look for it, you can't find it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you go and get tired of looking for it, so you go do something else, and then it goes beep.
But it was
And you're
funny.
like,
I was like,
ah.
man, Magneticus would be the one to call that out, man. After
Well, 'cause I
over
told,
all the talking and things that are going on, and he still heard that little beep in the background. I'm like, this dude right here.
well, I told you about my friend's dog, right? How
Yeah, yeah. You go
how
ahead
that
and tell
sound
the
drove
story
the
on that.
dog nuts. It just literally drove the dog nuts. And it broke out of its kennel and tore through the door and everything else. And my friend was not happy about putting that dog down.
Damn,
So,
man. It drove a dog nuts. That's crazy.
yeah, yeah, it did. And the weird part was I was sitting there thinking of asking my friend for that dog for some reason. I'm like, no, he wouldn't give me that dog. And then the worst part about it was is my friend had like 6 dogs at the time, right? And they're usually in kennels and so when you first come in, they're all on kennels. And apparently like a half hour or something went by. I'd been over there for like a half hour. Didn't even notice one of the dogs were missing, you know what I mean? Because there's like so many dogs. And they're like it became like some game to them. Oh, you didn't notice one's missing? And I'm like, no. And then you go look, and then you're like, oh yeah, one of them is missing. You know what I mean? And yeah, it was a sad day.
Dude,
Yeah.
tell me about it. I always think about the day. The dogs I have are pretty young right now, for the most part. One of them is kind of a little middle aged, I'll say, in dog years. But no, I was thinking that day, man. Some people, who have had their pets for many, many years, and at some point they're gonna go, and it's like, damn. That's what
Right.
happens when you sign up for a pet, and you sign yourself up for the heartbreak at the end. That's what I'm finding out because you get it, nice, cute little puppies, like, oh, it's cute, cute, it's cute. Then you realize that within my lifetime, I'm gonna have to bury this dog. Like, I'm gonna have to say goodbye to my friend or my kid or whatever, however you look
Right.
at your pet.
Fur baby.
Yeah, and and it's like, man, it's like, I just set myself up to be really sad one day in the future. Like, But I'll tell you, one of my dogs is a rescue, right? So, and I didn't know this at first, because what I did was we wanted puppies for the one dog I had, which is a boy, and we wanted to get him a mate, so we considered getting a second dog, and so we found one online out in Sacramento, and so a few hundred miles away, about 300 miles. So decided to drive out there to go get it. I called my mother and I said, yeah, I saw this dog. Could you just go get it? And then I'll just pay you the money when I get down there. Right. And so she did. She went and picked it up, and then, I was working at the time, so I couldn't go and get it myself. So weekend came, and then I went down to go get it, and then it had this mark, this would look like rope or wire mark around the leg. It was like burned into the leg to where it was like to the skin, and it was around one leg. And I'm like, man, and then it would act real skittish, like really scared anytime you would approach it, or and I was just like, wow. And then the way the lady was getting rid of it, I don't know if she rescued it and then couldn't handle it, or if she was the one that was actually abusing the dog. But yeah, we got her over here, and at first she was still a little skittish and standoffish. That mark, it still is there to this day, but it healed up pretty good. And she's a totally different dog. When my parents come down and they visit, we've had her now for about 3 years, and they compliment.
Sometimes when you take the dog out of the environment, they do all right, and sometimes they don't. Yeah.
Oh, and here's the trippy part about it. So not only did she 180, and her demeanor is nothing like when she first came here, but she does this thing where when she comes up to you, she like if you're sitting down, you have your arms at your sides, sitting down, she will come and put her nose under your arm to make you lift your arm up so that you can hug her. Like, she knows how to do that. Like, she sticks her nose under your arm and makes you lift your arm up so that you can go ahead and hug her. And no one taught her to do that. And that's why I always just give her love and just show her love, because she's asking for it. She's literally like begging for it almost. And it just makes me think back to like the things that she probably went through, that I know she went through. They were so traumatic that now all she wants is every day, every moment, she wants love. So it's crazy. But got her, and then our two dogs had like 2 or 3 litters, and we kept 2. So they had like 30 puppies in total over time, and we ended up keeping 2. One is named Panther. He's just jet black. And the other one named is Ladybug. And she was so small. She was the runt of one of the litters. And they're all Chihuahuas. And she came out, she's like the size of one of those teacup Chihuahuas, right? So we kept her, named her Ladybug. And I swear, we went through, in that particular litter that she was born in, we had an issue with parvo. So we had like 2 or 3 dogs pass on us. Oh, it was so tough, right? So tough. And I told this story before, but in that litter, we had an older dog that was from a previous litter that somehow caught the parvo. And then the 2 young ones, which was Ladybug, the one we kept, and then her brother, they were about the same size, and they were always hanging out with each other. And he got sick, and he passed. She was still fine, but we knew because she was always around him that she had to have it. And by a few days after he passed, then she started showing symptoms. And I swear, she was probably about this big, man. She was so small at the time. I didn't think her body would be able to survive through parvo. I just didn't think she would. We took her to the vet, got her all types of shots. They put some fluid in her, and she actually, I brought her back to life, from SAC. I literally did. She was gone. She was gone. She would come back throughout the process with the vet. She would come back after the treatment, and then by the next morning, she was zapped. So the one night they had done everything they could do, and it pretty much was like, it's on her. She's gonna. They offered us throughout that time to put her down. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we wouldn't put her down. Like, we need you to do something for us. So go ahead and do something for my dog. So they did everything they could, and we brought her home one night, let her sleep with my daughter, and next morning I get woken up talking about she didn't make it through the night, and I'm mad and upset because I just buried literally 2 other dogs like days earlier, and so I'm just frustrated, upset, and I'm just like, let me just get this over with. So I just get up and I go and I'm like, where is she at? It's like, she's right here on a little dog couch, fully wrapped up in a towel or a blanket or something, fully wrapped head to toe. So I'm like, oh man. So I'm about to go to grab her because I'm about to just literally go right out here and dig a hole and just put her in it and say my piece and all that stuff. So I go to grab her and she literally jerks like a convulsive jerk, just no other response. Like she did that one jump and didn't do anything else after that. And she kind of was just, I could just started paying close attention. I saw that she was breathing. I'm like, she's alive. Like, they're like, no, I'm like, no, she's alive. So I sat there literally for 4 hours at the kitchen table, and she was just so small. I was holding her in one hand, and I had her in like a little face towel almost. I had her wrapped up, and I was sitting there, and I had a little oh God, what do you call that? Liquid IV. I had some liquid IV. I was sitting there just trying to bring her back. She was just limp, lifeless, wasn't doing anything. Eyes sunk in her head. She couldn't, her head's flopping all around. And so I had to keep her in this one position, and I would give her some liquid IV. But she couldn't, her natural response to swallow wasn't there. So it would just sit there in her mouth. And I'm like, damn, like, man, she's either about to die right here in my hands. But then 30, 40 seconds later, then she would drink it down, or her reaction would kick in. So I had to do that a few times. And I'm just sitting there and I'm kind of just rubbing her body, trying to make the blood flow. And I'm talking to her and sitting there doing this nonstop for 4 hours, literally talking to this puppy, rubbing this puppy, IVing this puppy, literally for 4 hours straight. Little by little, like first thing she did, she started to drink down immediately. Like when you put it in her mouth, she would drink it down. I'm like, okay. Then she barely started opening her eyes after a while. This is like hour 1, then hour 2. Then like by hour 3, I got her to lift her head up. So she lifted her head up, and then I'm in the kitchen, so I'm by the sliding door, so it's daytime. So she is now, her ears are starting to poke up and perk and move around, and like she's listening for things and stuff, because she can hear the other dogs playing, and they're running in and out the house. And then so, she when she was able to lift her head and open her eyes, and then she's seeing the other puppies play. And then I'm telling I'm just still talking to her like I know you want to play with your brothers and do all this stuff. So I'm literally thinking there's no hope, and she's coming back little by little by little. Then by the end of the fourth hour, like she wasn't fully back, but you could tell that she was gonna be okay, at least for now. So I felt like, I don't know, I think it was channeled through me, like I was just like a conduit, and that energy was put through me into this puppy and brought this puppy back to life. So true story, like if she was up right now, the moment that I go into the house, the moment that I go to sit down on the couch, the moment I go, if she's in the bed, the moment I get in the bed for the night, she is literally on my face. She is literally, or even if I'm sitting on the couch, she'll jump up on the back of the couch, and she's literally like right here in my face, full time. And I think, I don't know, it makes me think that she just appreciates, she remembers and she appreciates it. So, and that now she gets to be here, and she knows that she could have been in that hole if she didn't respond. And I think she's just happy to be alive. So I got one dog that was saved and is happy to be loved by a family now. And then I got one that knows that she was almost in the ground, and is having a second chance. So yeah, crazy story. It is amazing, Mike Bothwell. I don't take any credit for her coming back. Technically, I don't. I just tell you what I did, but that was channeled through me, man. It was. There's no other way to put that. That was something else. Higher power. We'll just leave it at that. Putting something through me and allowed this puppy to have that second chance. Straight up. I saw it happen. For anyone that does.
Oh.
No, go ahead. That's mind blowing. I couldn't hear you. Say that again.
Oh, I said years ago, my friend rescued a female pit bull, and apparently its former owner was abusing it, and this dog did not like women when he first got that dog. I remember he'd always have to keep this dog on a short leash when there was a woman around, because that dog remembered being abused by a woman and didn't like women. And so, and he knew from the beginning that, if he couldn't break that habit of this dog wanting to go ballistic on women, they were just going to have to put the dog down. But eventually she got to where, she wasn't, so cranky when she seen women. And I always remember the first time I took the wife, we weren't married then, but first time I took the wife over to his house, and I always remember that dog wanting to go home with her. Think about that one for a minute.
What?
Yeah,
I missed that.
Yeah,
Did you hear what I said? That dog went from not liking women to the first time it met my wife, it wanted to go home with her.
Okay. Yeah, but the connection there, like how we got to that, the bridge we crossed to get there. So what was done for that dog to change his outlook on women?
I'm saying, why is that dog? I mean, that my friend's dog was like literally like, sitting right next to her, like, pet me, everything else, while she was over at my friend's house. And then when she went to leave, the dog was trying to get in the car with her and go home with her. So I took, and I remember after she left, I looked at my friend and I'm like, we were both kind of like looking at each other like, that was really weird. You know what I mean? Because usually it'd take the dog, I mean, we both know Susie B is a nice person, but it'd literally take that dog a few times before the dog would like, kind of,
Right.
and,
Right.
so that's what that was the behavior that was just odd. It was like, why is this dog
something about your wife? Exactly. Okay.
So that's when I was kind of like, oh, I think I'll keep this woman around for a little while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was my way of doing things.
Yeah.
Because years ago, my one boss was like, she asked me, she was like, how many girlfriends do you have? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, every time I turn around, you're with some different girl. And I'm just like, well, you get to know them a little bit. And most of them, it's like, boop, I don't like you. You're out.
Oh, man, that is.
What?
Player.
I'm not gonna. No. All it takes is, as soon as they show something I don't like, it's like you're gone, done, over. That was me for a long time. That doesn't make it
any better, man, Atticus.
Good on you.
Huh? What?
Doesn't make it any better, though. I understand, man. I'm with you. I understand, man. I'm just saying,
Just because I take a woman to dinner or something doesn't mean we have sex. You know what I mean? It's just like, it was like, that's how I was. It was like, you get to this point, and if I still like you, I'll do this. And if I still like you, it's the next step, and so usually most of them was like, for whatever reason, they just didn't last long. So,
okay.
But then I met the wife, and it was like, I introduced her, it wasn't like I introduced her to my friend the first date. It was like, if you met my friend, we've been on a few dates at that point. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it wasn't like I took you over to his house because he didn't like company usually, so, and, but yeah, but I always remember his dog doing that. It was just like so weird that usually, because I remember the dog when he first got it and how like she would like snarl at women. I kid you not. She was just like, it was like they didn't even do anything effects. To her, What?
The sound effects, man. You're killing me. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then so hanging out with my friend and his pit bull after a while, that's when I started like liking dogs, I guess, tolerating them more than I usually did. But he decided to breed her because he found out this dog had like this super long, huge pedigree. I mean, I'll never forget him showing me the pedigree of this dog, unless like there's that much family history on that dog's bloodline, and it's like, yeah. So he got her pregnant. Well, not him, but another dog got the dog pregnant, and
so unceremonious, man. Go ahead.
So it was, and then when it came to the dog having puppies, what was it? It's like the first 3 or 4 out of the litter were dead. They were all born dead, and then he took the dog to the vet, and apparently the dog that knocked the dog up didn't break the hymen all the way or something. And that's why the puppies were coming out dead. And so he got, what was it, 2 or 3? I know he got at least 2 puppies out. No, he got like 4 puppies, I think, out of the deal. Maybe 5. I can't remember exactly. I remember one was like born with no tail, and then that one didn't make it because it had like other health issues, because other things didn't develop. And yeah, that was just a sad day. Burying dead puppies, I was like, oh, here's one. Go out in the backyard, dug a hole. Oh, here's another one. Dig another hole. Here's another one. Dig another hole. It's like, man, how many holes we're gonna dig tonight?
Out of 3 litters. Yeah, go ahead. Finish.
Oh, that was when I showed you that picture of the taxi, the New York City taxi, right? The puzzle.
Not the taxi. No, I don't recall that one.
Okay. If you see the taxi, you remember, because I always point out the number 452 on the side of it.
Yeah, no, I didn't see the taxi. But man, I'll tell you, with the litters, in the stillborns, the couple stillborns, there was, oh man, there was one in particular, right? This one was scary, and it was upsetting because we didn't intend on allowing our dog to have a third litter. And in between waiting to because she was still feeding the other dog. So because we waited too long and we were doing our best, right, to keep these dogs separated, and one day dog got to her. So she ended up pregnant. So we're like, oh my gosh, now we have to hopefully go through this thing, because her calcium was low one time, and we just didn't want to let her do it. It was just too much on her, we felt like. So this litter gets time for her to give birth, and we had like 1, 2, and they were coming right after each other. So after 2, nothing happened, and we were sitting there waiting for a very long time, for like hours, reading and stuff, like how long should it take, when is this become an emergency, and it was, I can't recall how many hours it was, but the hours when she started giving birth, it led into the next morning, early in the morning. And so she still hadn't had another puppy. We knew there were more. And so my girl had to put on a glove and kind of, had to do that part. And there was a baby stuck in the canal, and
sideways.
So and so we had to and obviously that one had passed, but once we did that, then the other ones came right as they should. I think we had lost one other one in that mix too, but that one was, because we had to go hands-on in the hands-on part. And on top of that, it was one we were trying to prevent because we had felt like she had gone through too much anyways. And then this is how it ends. You know what I mean? Like, this is, it was just as bad as we thought it could be. But yeah, that happened. And yeah, so we went and got our dogs fixed, and that is the end of that.
You're right.
No more. That is it.
Yeah, when my friend bred his pit bull, man, it was like, that was such a weird time in life, because it was like, first he bred the dog, and the guy that he bred with, he had to put down one of his dogs because 2 of the dogs were fighting with each other, and that was like not allowed. You know what I mean? That's like, and he was trying to break him up, and the one literally got him right in the crotch. And that's when he yelled at his wife to get his 44 Magnum, and that dog got a 44 Magnum to the head. So this was like, this was while they were making the arrangements for the breeding and stuff. And I remember we were at the dog show, and my friend was looking forward to seeing this other guy at the dog show, but he wasn't there, and then we got told why he wasn't there, you know what I mean? Because he just got bit in the Canonas with his pit bull, and and had to deal with that situation. So and then they did the breeding, and then my friend, he liked riding around on a super bike, and apparently he crashed one day, and that was during the time I was his roommate, and I was out with another friend. We were out hiking in the woods or whatever, and came back to the house, and his car was in the driveway. And then I went in the house, and I realized, the dog didn't bark, and I'm like, going, okay, that's weird. And so I went out in the garage and looked in the garage, and his motorcycle was missing. And I'm sitting there thinking, I never seen him ride his motorcycle with his pit bull, because I noticed the dog was missing and the bike was missing. So I'm sitting there going, this doesn't make any sense. Where's the dog? You know what I mean? And being the roommate, you know what I mean? I mean, think about it, Rob. You came home and your dog's not home. What are you going to think? I lost your dog, right? That's what you're going to think. So I'm stressing out thinking he's going to come home, accuse me of losing his dog or whatever. And at the time, I didn't have a phone, so it wasn't like, I could really call anybody and find out anything. And of course, we tried calling his cell phone and wasn't getting no response. And so I'm sitting there just like, just dreading him coming home and his dog's missing, you know what I mean? And eventually, a few hours later, the friend came back over, and she was like, apparently crashed his bike. He'd shattered his kneecap in 4 places, and then did a number on the bottom of his leg. So he was in the emergency room. They were debating on amputating his left leg from the motorcycle accident. And apparently the guy that he was breeding with came over and picked up the dog, because he knew about the motorcycle accident. So he came over, picked up the dog, and was taking care of the dog. But I didn't know that at the time, so I was just freaking out. And then, of course, when it came to dealing with the puppies, he's all laid up with his leg and stuff. And I remember getting him a wheelchair, and I was just like, dude, use it. And he's like, no, I'm not going to use the wheel. His pride was like just refusing to let him use that wheelchair. So Tatana might sit there, and since he wasn't using it, I'd start sitting in it, and I'd start like wheeling around all over the place. You know what I mean? I just put that wheelchair on 2 wheels and just go cruising all over the place. And eventually he decided to use it. He's like, man, I should have been doing this a lot sooner. It makes things so much easier, because he was like trying to take care of the dogs and everything else with a broken leg. And I mean, he wouldn't let you help him for nothing. You know what I mean? I mean, he would sit there and hobble with his laundry, with his crutches. He had to do everything by himself. He had to do I'm like, okay, whatever. And eventually he used that wheelchair, and he was like, oh, this is so much easier.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And that's when I put that 3D puzzle of New York City together. That's why I was asking about the taxi cab. That number 452. Do a little math here. 4 plus 5 is
9. 2
plus
is
2.
11.
Now, what would that have to do with New York City?
9/11.
Now you take the number backwards. All right, 254. Right.
Yeah.
Go look around the pentagram, or Pentagon. There's a document called number 254. How to safeguard secrets.
Now you putting that puzzle together. I see you.
So I needless to say, that September morning, I was looking at the kitchen table going, oh, the camera is sitting right here. Oh, the camera on television sitting right here. Oh, this view is from over here, because I was looking at all of New York City sitting at the kitchen table. And I could tell you where the cameras were sitting at by what you were seeing on the screen.
Okay.
And I got asked some other questions about that puzzle, but, that's neither here nor there. But after that day, it made sense with the questions I was being asked, like how much damage would be done, how many people would die if a damaged building in New York City was to just suddenly collapse. That was the scenario I was given. You know what I mean? I wasn't told. I mean, I was told which building to expect to collapse, and it was just a building. You know what I mean? It wasn't a pair of buildings or maybe a building 7 at the same time, you know what I mean? But it was just, yeah, it was weird. It was weird.
Yeah, there's
Makes you wonder. Just makes you
that's
wonder.
it's a rabbit hole, man. It's a rabbit hole. Mm, I
Just saying.
don't know. I don't know, man.
All I can say is it would stem all the way back to 1993, February of 1993. And that's when the car bomb went off. And that's what damaged the building in the first place. And that was the scenario that I was told to inquire, I was inquired about was, the damaged building, what would happen if it suddenly collapsed? So as you're sitting there looking at the puzzle and you can take those towers and you can just knock them over in any direction you wanted to, and you could see all the buildings they'd hit along the way, you know what I mean? And
Right.
it gives you, so when it came to giving estimates, it was like, you start looking at like the time frame, 6 a.m. versus 6 p.m., you know what I mean? A Monday versus a Friday or a Saturday, you know what I mean? You have to look like at all these different little aspects of it, because if it happened on a Friday afternoon, New York City is probably pretty bustling around on a Friday afternoon versus what was it, like a Tuesday morning or something? I don't remember what it was, but it was
Sounds about right. May have been a
yeah.
Tuesday.
It was something. It was early in the week, early in the morning, before anybody's really in there and stuff, and yeah. So ideally, it happened at a good time. The outcome wasn't very good, but given I gave
Oh
the
no, Magneticus.
I gave an estimate of 10 times as many people did as there was. So, that was my estimate. And when it
I'll
came to collateral, I couldn't tell if, I was supposed to be estimating, office chairs, desks, computers, pencils, paper clips, reams of paper, or just the value of the structure. You know what I mean?
And how did you get
Yeah.
mixed up in all this?
Yeah.
Well, how do you think I got mixed up in all of this?
I don't know you very well. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, well, in the 7th grade, I got pulled from class quite frequently.
Mhm.
And they'd ask me these stupid questions, and I literally thought they were the stupidest questions ever being asked of me. Sometimes they just put a puzzle in front of you, and it might only be a dozen pieces, and you'd have to put them together and make the shape on the paper or whatever. I had
Mhm.
no idea I was being given intelligence tests. And the next thing I know, they're all talking about, oh, this kid's smart enough to be in college, which would make me like a Doogie Howser. You know what I mean? Remember that old show?
So you
Mm-hmm.
were you in a gifted class?
No, no, I got thrown in a class full of oversized hillbillies. That's what happened.
Football players?
What?
Football players?
Yeah, but what the funny thing was for my small size, I had the football coach coming up to me going, you want to try out for football? You know why the coach was asking me to try out for football?
Yeah.
Because I was dropping his football players in the locker room. That's why.
Oh, right in the
And then the
crotch.
wrestling coach came up to me and he was like, you want to try out for wrestling? And I said no, because I'm afraid I might kill one of them.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
violent.
That's
I
the only.
wrestled, man. I'll say that I wrestled. I was in a gifted class as well, though, as a kid. And I got a number thing for you right now, man. And you probably already know this. You probably already know this, but I don't think a lot of people out there may know this. So if you multiply any number, any number in the world times 9, the answer that you get will always
Well,
add
some's
up
nine.
to 9.
Yes. I've showed you that with my expanded 10 key. That 1, 10, 19, 28, all equal 1.
I mean, you could take
11,
1,600,443
whatever it is, the sum of the numbers will always
times
add up
9.
to 9. Yes.
That's
72.
crazy.
72. 7 plus 2 is 9. 81. 8 plus 1 is 9. 54. 4 plus 5 is 9. 63. 3 plus 6 is 9. Yes. Every multiple of 9 sums to 9. I tried to show you that.
Of 9.
I tried to show you that with my big list of numbers. I only sent you the one file. I think the 216 number. You know, there was only like 216 9-digit numbers there. They all add up to 9. Every last one of them add up to 9 if you add them up.
Yep. Pick a random number out the sky.
And I have 300,000, over 300,000 of those numbers, 9-digit numbers. All sorted the same way, like I showed you, the one file I sent you of 216 entries. Every last one of those numbers, if you add up the first 3, the second 3, and the last 3, they all equal the same amount. That's the only thing.
You sent that to me?
Yes.
216 entries?
Didn't I send you an email that had like a whole bunch of 9-digit numbers? Or is that in my draft? That might be in my draft.
That might be in your drafts. Yeah, that might be because that might be in your drafts.
Sometimes I'll spend hours writing out because I struggle to read and write. I mean, I can talk all day long, but this is what they found out too, is that my class grades didn't actually reflect my intelligence. You know what I mean? Because when you can't, I don't want to say I can't read. I can read. I just read better if I hold the book upside down. You know what I mean? That one throws people off when I sit there and I show them how it's like, this is how I read if I hold the book right side up, and this is how I read if I hold the book upside down. That's the only difference I make is I just turn the page upside down, and once I turn it upside down, I can read faster.
Look, I'll tell you this. No, go ahead, finish.
Oh, so, when it comes to writing, like if I write enough and if I didn't like correct my errors when I catch them, you know what I mean? You'll notice like my words are in the wrong order. Like I'll put words before instead of after. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense. I don't know. I'm trying to like think of how one of the ways I do it. I know with like the I's before E's, I mess that one up. I get E before I, and you know what I mean? I'll do those kind of common typos, and then but literally it's like my sentence structure is like the words are like in the wrong order. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but
it's like Yoda. I got you. No, but
I think so, maybe. I didn't watch a lot of Star Wars, so or a lot of movies for that matter for the last 20 years. So yeah.
No, but look. This is because when I met you and I told you I was like, I'm a numbers guy, dude. So I love numbers. Keep sending me numbers. I love numbers. So this goes back to when I was in first grade. You know how they used to give you, the addition problems, right? And they give you 100 of them on a piece of paper, and you got to sit there and do all 100 of them. I used to race. We used to race in class so you could get done first and with all of them correct. So that's where my love for numbers started. And this led me, and so math was always something that I really loved. And there was a point in time, because I was in GATE, I was in the Gifted Talented Education Program. I got to go to college, sit in class with college students while I was in the 6th grade. So there was a time in high school where I was a freshman. Hiram Johnson High School in Sacramento. This was the year that the calculus teacher from, if you ever remember a movie called Stand and Deliver, you know that movie, Lou Diamond Phillips, Edward James Olmos.
Yeah, good movie.
Well, that movie was about a teacher named Jaime Escalante. And so a few years after that movie came out, he was in LA, and he left from LA, came to Sacramento, and began teaching at my high school the year that I came there as a freshman. So he came and taught calculus there until he retired. He retired from that school, and so I got to meet him. He was like the big celebrity on campus, sort of thing, and you know, I wasn't in any of his classes. You know, I was just a freshman. So, but what I did was I was still working with numbers. So I used to sit around and do stuff like try to figure out different ways to get the answer for a math problem using just different crazy theories or I don't even know what I'm saying. Different
Equations.
Equations. So I would take multiplication problems, and then I would add the numbers. I can't even remember exactly what I did, but I sat and I perfected this technique over weeks and weeks and weeks until every time I tried this method, I came out with the correct answer. And then one day, what I did once that happened, I went to my math teacher, my freshman math teacher, and I went and I showed her what I come up with. I sat down with her and I showed her. And do you know, this lady sat there and accused me of going into Mr. Escalante's class and taking something that he had done, and he hadn't done anything like this. But it just, you know, and this is inner city stuff obviously as well. So I was just so disrespected by that. I had come up with this method of doing it, and it may not, you know, it worked, but it may not have been of something that blew up or, you know, changed the game or anything like that. But it worked every time you wrote down the problem and you used this method. So she accused me of stealing this from Miss Escalante, didn't give me the credit that she should have been giving me, you know, for coming up with something amazing like that. But I just ended up kind of leaving that alone and not really going back to it. And it just shows like how a teacher, the important part they could play in the direction that you go based on the support that they give you. Like I sat there and showed her something amazing that was even over her own head, and she couldn't give me the props that I deserved. It's sad. It's sad. It's every time I think about that, because, and I left it alone. I knew what it was. I knew what I did, and I showed it to her, and it worked. And I never messed with it again. And that was kind of where I really stopped playing with numbers, but I've always still been a numbers guy. So that's magnetic. That's what I mean when I told you I'm a numbers guy. That I've always been into numbers and how they work, and I was really into it at one point in time until that day.
I'll never forget in high school, my one math teacher, one day she just looked at me and she's like, "Why are you even in my class?" And because this was the 10th grade, right? And I was taking pre-algebra. 10th grade taking pre-algebra. Now remember, in the ninth grade I took algebra and biology, all right? 10th grade I'm taking pre-algebra and general science. And so, needless to say, my pre-algebra teacher was just like trying to figure out what I was even doing in her class. So I sat there and I told her how the guidance counselor made a remark to me about, "Oh, I see you have a hard time with math and science." And I was just like, "I guess so." You know what I mean? I'm like, "I guess so." I mean, if you looked at my ninth grade transcript, it was all A's except for the last quarter. I got a B in algebra and biology. So I guess I struggle with math and science. You know what I mean? I guess I do. I mean, you know, the guidance counselor's looking at my transcript. You'd think he would see this, you know. And so I just went along with it, you know. I'm like, okay, easy A, you know. I mean, sit there and sleep in class if I wanted to. And she was always like, I'm just like, because your guidance counselor sucks ass. That's why. I mean, I only went to 5 different high schools in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 different states. And so needless to say, nobody knew anything about me. And I just usually sit in the back of the class and not say much, you know, and then I'd go beat up a couple bullies in the locker room, and then everybody would know me. And especially since, you know, I'm just this little guy, you know, I'm a little guy taking on these guys like twice my size. I wouldn't take them on. They're, you know, they're the ones that wanted to play rough, and then I'd just be like, okay, we'll play rough. Yeah. 10th grade, I always remember sitting in the principal's office because a little altercation in the locker room. And I'll never forget leaving the locker room, and the PE instructor was sitting on the bench, and he's like, do I need to call an A-car? And I was like, what's an A-car? And he told me an ambulance, and I'm like, no, I'm fine. And he's like, does the other guy need an ambulance? And I'm like, no, he'll be out in his own power in a minute. He's like, go to the principal's office. I'm like, okay. I'm sitting in the principal's office, and then the other guy comes in. We're both sitting in the principal's office, and the principal asked me what happened. I said, I told him to keep his hands to himself. He kept touching me while I was changing. And I was like, you don't stop it, there's going to be a problem. And he's like, what happened? And I was like, he kept touching me. And he's like, what happened? And then I pointed at the kid and I said, that's what happened.
Right.
And then later, one of my classmates was like, I heard you got in a fight earlier today. And I was like, I did. And he's like, well, how come you don't look like you got in a fight, but the other guy looked like he danced with a train? And I'm like, well, I told him to keep his hands to himself. You know, don't touch me, I won't touch you. You know, shoot. I was trained like with ninja skills at an early age. You know, I'm really not trying to fight with somebody because you can kill them in a heartbeat. Especially punch them in the right place. Ay, ay, ay.
So you
Calm
down.
down.
You were destroying bullies. Got it.
Take a deep
now,
breath.
looking at Black Dragon, when he was talking about he was accused of cheating in algebra because he would just write down the answers, couldn't tell the teacher how he got the answers. And then also says never had a wrong answer, just couldn't show how I got the answers. I was always also great with computer programming. Was the only kid who knew binary. And Maggie says there is more intelligence than just academia, in my honest opinion, and that's true. Now, one thing, just like when Black Dragon saying he just couldn't get the answers without showing the work. So, as far as we were talking about earlier, some of the abilities that that we don't know that we have. And one of the things that used to always blow my mind growing up, an example, I guess, of this would be, if you remember, they used to have stories about kids and even adults that would go through some sort of traumatic experience where maybe they end up in a coma and they wake up from the coma like speaking a whole new language, a fluent language. Like, have you guys heard of that before? I know in the 90s it definitely happened. Now, let me try to find a story on it. Might as well. But there was, I know there was one where there was a kid who had fell, bumped his head, gone into a coma, and then when he woke up from the coma could speak fluent Spanish or some other language just without ever having access to the language. And I always thought that that was pretty amazing. Like, where do you pull that from? Where do you pull that data from?
I learned how to drive stick shift through a dream.
That's crazy. Flawlessly, no grinding gears.
Flawlessly, it's like you when you know it just It's almost like you've always known.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
I think
So
I
it's the
worried about it too
knowledge
much,
that's
and I
handed
thought
down.
about it too much. Sorry, Magneticus.
No, I was just asking a question. Is it the esoteric knowledge that's handed down through like genetics or whatever? Is that the right word? I even using the right word.
Say
I don't
that
even know.
again.
Sorry.
Huh?
I don't even think it was someone on the other side handing it to you. I think it was just something you always have known.
Well, what if like they had relatives that, like 3 generations back or whatever that spoke Spanish fluently or whatever, I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out. If there was like somewhere in the lineage where somebody would have known Spanish or whatever.
Or what about a past life?
I guess
Yeah, I
that
mean
too.
that would make sense. I mean, it'd be the only thing that can make sense in a situation where you don't know a language at all, and then all of a sudden you just know this language fluently. Like how? Unless you're tapping into something else. And here's I found a story where they talked about this. If you can see this here, is that showing up? Yeah. Okay. So before his coma, he spoke English. After waking up, he's fluent in Spanish. This is just, and the one I was talking about was from like the 90s or something. So this is still happening to this day, as this report shows here, as of 2016. So whatever this is, let's see. Yeah, ever since he suffered a concussion in a soccer game, the suburban Atlanta teens worried about why it's so hard for him to concentrate and fretted over whether he'll ever get to play his favorite sport. But the biggest stumper of all, how is it that he's suddenly speaking fluent Spanish? A 16-year-old high school sophomore ended up in a coma last month after another player kicked him in the head during a game. When he woke up, he did something he'd never done before: speak Spanish like a native. His parents said he could already speak some Spanish, but he was never fluent in it until his concussion. Slowly, his English is coming back and he's starting to lose his Spanish fluency. How does foreign accent? It's a rare condition. Foreign accent syndrome is an extremely rare condition in which brain injuries change a person's speech patterns, giving them a different accent. First known case is in 1941 when a Norwegian woman suffered shrapnel injuries to the brain during a German bombing run and started speaking with a German accent. Since then, there have been a few dozen reported cases. 3 years ago, police found a Navy vet unconscious in a Southern California motel. When he woke up, he had no memory of his previous life and spoke only Swedish. In Australia, a former bus driver got in a serious car crash that left her with a broken back and jaw. She woke up. When she woke up, she was left with something completely unexpected: a French accent. And earlier this year, a Texas woman who had surgery on her jaw has sported a British accent ever since. It's an impairment of motor control. Dr. Karen Crute, one of the few experts in foreign accent syndrome, told CNN a few years ago, speech is one of the most complicated things we do, and there are a lot of brain centers involved in coordinating a lot of moving parts. If one or more of them are damaged, that can affect the timing, melody, and tension of their speech. That's crazy. That right there is crazy. I will never understand how people are able to do that. It's just mind blowing.
Well, it's like I went, what was it, like almost 3 decades before I realized that I died when I was a child. Even
Wow.
though, and it was like, that's when it helped me figure out things. Like I had a fear of electricity before I realized how I died. And then once I realized that I was electrocuted, fatally electrocuted, people are like, how could you be fatally electrocuted? You're still talking. And I'm just like, because somebody else took the time to do CPR on me. That's why I'm still alive. You know, should have been for me 40 some years ago. Yeah.
Damn, G. Oh
So,
man. Okay. Well, here this man. We're gonna wrap this one up, man. Three hours. I wanted to at least hit that. We did it. I think we ended on a good note too. We rebooted in the wrong language. I know. I know that maybe that's something we can continue the conversation on. Make that for the next show. But I think that's pretty amazing, and I don't think people have it figured out. You're right. It does make a good argument for possibility of reincarnation. So what I'm gonna
maybe.
do is I'm gonna wrap up this show. So I want to thank Susie B for joining me. I want to thank Magneticus for joining me as well. I also want to thank
Get
Area
along.
51 who just disappeared. And
Yeah, you did.
maybe I want to thank Derek Galloway who claims that he was in the back, which I did see someone in the back, but the name did not say Derek Galloway. It just said Wu Train something, some type of Wu. Yeah, it was something like that. It wasn't named Derek Galloway, so we can't confirm that it was Derek Galloway. So Derek, yeah, that part.
I
All
wonder what
right,
happened if I
so
put something weird in my name next time. Because it lets you
yeah,
put in different
I
names.
don't buy it. Then the person that was in the back put in the chat, and it's still here. I'll tell you what it is because it's sitting right here in the private chat. So Wu Train Rider, and he said, "Hello, it's Derek," and then put another message right after that that said, my microphone and my camera says it's blocked. WTF? I tried, and then left.
Oh, I bet he needs to check his settings. I had to do all sorts
If
of
it was
different.
Derek,
Oh, I
I'm
know
not
the
even
first
gonna give
time
him
I
that
used
credit.
StreamYard. First time I used StreamYard, I had to go into my internet settings and change all sorts of stuff just to give it access to my camera and microphone and yeah, it was just really weird. Because like
Bangington said that's Derek.
for a long time I couldn't like look at like videos with my internet because it would like yeah, apparently I didn't have something going on. So
All right,
check
well,
your
I want to
settings.
thank you guys for joining us today. I want to thank you guys for coming in and joining me.
That scared me.
It's been fantastic. You guys deserve this.
Thank you, Rob.
No problem at all. We will be talking again soon. Make sure you guys show up at Dave Scott's place tomorrow. I know you will. Hopefully, there's some sort of fantastic 24K celebration set up for us to enjoy. But Magneticus, do you got anything else to say to everybody before we go?
No, not really. So he's at 24,000 subscribers now? Is
Yeah,
that what?
yeah, just hit that.
All right on.
Yeah. So it should be something good to celebrate. You know, it's a milestone. It means that we're growing, which is great, and it's been at a pretty decent rate. Especially to not have anything from there's not a lot that's being done differently today. Obviously we revamped the after hours, but there aren't any promotions out there. So hopefully it's viewers sharing.
Right.
But I always say anytime a new person comes by, they always once they see what the atmosphere is like, they usually want to stay and come back. So however they're getting the word, I hope that continues to happen, and we should hit 25K pretty quick.
So have you used that Excel sheet that I made you?
No,
Or
we're gonna have to sit down so you can talk to me about that and walk me through that. Yeah, I haven't got a
because
chance to.
because it's one of those, if you do it when you're first starting, it's a lot easier to keep track of than when you get big and then you're trying to remember who everybody is. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
back in the day, I would use a robot, so it was easy for the robot to look at a name, look at the list, and say, I don't know this person, and add them to the list. You know what I mean? I just kind of did it El Manuel, and just manually entered people's names into the Excel list. And then you can kind of keep track of everybody that you've seen in the chat over time. You know what I mean?
So let's do this. Let's do this. I'm gonna set up a day, and I'll invite you in, like just me and you on a stream.
Right.
And then that way you can share your screen. I can do the same, and you can show me how to use that.
Well, I'm saying I don't run the robots anymore. Back in the day, that's how people used to be surprised how much I could remember about them, because I could literally just click on their name in my file folders, and I had everything they ever said in chat in that file. And what I was saying is I had user lists, because like just a few months ago, you only were getting like maybe 5 people in the live streams, and now you're at 30, so you're at like 6 times that already. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and it was easier to keep track when there was only a few people there, and now we're like, I'm not even writing them down anymore because there's too many people to keep track of. But you get what I'm saying. So
yeah. So how am I implementing the thing you sent me then in Excel?
It just gives you, so you can see who's all came in over time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So that's why I want to get with you, so you can show me how to set that up.
Yeah. Well, basically what it boils down to is every time you see a new name, like Dave
you just
Scott,
write it in.
I think when Dave Scott sees a new name, he makes a remark about that new name is signing autographs after the show or something. Maybe. I'm not sure about that one. But, you know what I mean? But he has some way of keeping track of who he knows and who he doesn't know. And I don't know who all is working behind in the background either. So.
Yeah. No, he's just reading names. I mean, you get a feeling for if you've said a name 1,000 times, and that's kind of what it is. It's just ones that you're not used to saying or seeing.
Right.
Because even when I'm calling off names, there's definitely names that I see that I don't even recognize. Not over here, but over there. Over here too, occasionally. But I don't know. We'll figure it out.
All I know is your numbers are growing, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, they are. I'm glad for that.
My numbers are growing too. My numbers are growing. I'm like up to 260 now. Not that it's a big number,
nice.
Anything, but it's bigger than I ever thought I would get. I didn't think I'd get 2 views on my videos. Now I got like 70,000 something views or something. I don't even know. Yeah, wait a minute. That's what I'm saying. Just like playing that record, I got over 2,000 views in a week on playing a record with that pentagram. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they love to see interesting things, man. They love to see,
And then I get the questions of, what does it do?
Right.
Yeah, I'm like,
that's what it breeds.
Yeah, I'm like, are you for real? You can't see what I'm doing here? I'm playing a phonograph with money. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Not everybody sees that, Magneticus. You can't assume that everybody sees it through your eyes.
Don't see me pushing on a foot pedal. I'm driving foot pedal to turn the wheel to play the record. I mean, I guess I should just tell them it's a Goldberg device and leave it at that. I'll be like, it's a Goldberg. It's a Goldberg. It's gold. Just gold.
Yeah. So. All right, man. That's we finna get up out of here, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming in, man. Check out what I sent you too now that we're off, and let me know what you think.
All right, I'll look at it and I'll see if there's anything different that I haven't kind of already. There's just things I don't want to say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just don't want to say it in a crowd, but I have my opinions. You know what I mean about things, and like I said, I'll just have Dave Scott's attitude of, If I don't like what I'm hearing, I'm not going to listen to it. You know, I can only handle so much Bigfoot. I can only handle so much UFO. I can only handle so much of whatever, you know, and sometimes I just don't want to hear it, you know, because it's like,
Exactly.
If it just sounds like I've heard this 100 times, I don't need to hear it again. But then there's always you know, I'm always afraid that, maybe there's going to be something new in there. So sometimes I lurk just to see if something else, you know, is getting said, you know, to add into my information database. So, yeah.
All right. Well, check it out.
Can you dig it?
Check it out and let me know.
Can you dig it?
Good job, G. And the social dig.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So check you out a little later, man. Etiquette. I'll be up, man. Actually, probably it takes me a minute to wind down. So if you watch this if you check that out as soon as we get off, let me know. Just text me and let me know.
Okay, shall do.
All right, man. Have a good one. Take care.
You too. All right.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
All right, guys. Here we go. Let's go ahead and get ready to wrap this thing up. My camera just died right now, literally. So I might as well bring up our little thing here. So we do this for what it says on the screen, the positive progression in humanity. We always do this for that. You know, if it doesn't move that needle, then it's something that they're really not interested in being involved with. You know, we talk about how this equates into financial situations. It really doesn't. I mean, if this is your mission, then you should be willing to do this just, you know, to see this happen. So, and that's why we do it here. You go back, episode number 0 on the Social Dig, when we talk about the outline of where we envision the channel to go and what we wanted the message to be. If you go back and look, you'll see in that 3-minute video, it explained exactly what we're doing today. And we're going to keep doing that. So the conversations, you know, we're going to reel them in. We're going to be a little more focused. It's cool to talk about random things, and I'm okay with that. But we also want to make sure that we're pushing a message, and, you know, putting information out there that's going to help others and to kind of put people in a better spot, better situation. So I definitely want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. Sovereign, Paramore, Maggie M10, Derek Galloway. Let's see, let's go back. I know there were a lot more that were here earlier. Magneticus, Area 51, Black Dragon. Let's see. Tamoth Man, Deb from SAC. Susie B. Let's see. Let's keep going back. Mike Bothwell, appreciate you. Black Dragon, if I didn't say it, let me say it again. Neil Warden. Angels Are Life, Nikki, thank you. All right. There were a lot more. Like I said, I'm not going to be able to get, till Magneticus helps me with that spreadsheet, man, I won't be able to get everybody on this round. But I do want to thank you for spending your time here at the Social Dig, joining the conversation. It has been such a pleasure, and we will do it again next weekend on the After Hours. Make sure you're at Dave Scott Spaced Out Radio tomorrow. Let's celebrate that 24K. Outside of that, you guys have a great rest of your night. Have a great week. You guys all take care.